Shout out to Jazz Dog for the soundtrack. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Hopefully, you are well. It's time. It's time for the show. It's time to chill. It's time for vibes. People are very active in the chats today, all right? In the YouTube chat, at least. Okay, we got a couple people on the website, too. What's up, Kitty Tech? Hello, Gayfesh, Mab, Psychoplebeian. In a Box, hello. We got Shakespeare as well. Yeah. And then, of course, yes, the YouTube chat. Zennies, I don't think is still here, but shout out to Zennies. Sweet Dream, Ancom Jane, Frocco, How to Rule an Asteroid, Nikki, Star, Unsubscribly. Hi, everybody. Got Nikki Valentine as well, Quantum Chaos. Yes, everybody who is demanding, YouTube chat is demanding that y'all hit the like button. I didn't say it, they said it. Which you should. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. It's an amazing way to tell YouTube to show the show to more people. So it's good, and you should do it. Riffs No Leads. Sapphic, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? How's the weekend been? Yesterday, we were supposed to go bowling, and we ended up not going bowling. But we spent all day pretty much, like, watching movies and painting minifigs. My partner, since he was a teenager, has been really into this tabletop game called Heroescape. And you've got minifigs, and you've got these like hexagonal blocks is not exactly the correct word, tiles. You have a bunch of hexagonal tiles that lock to each other, and you can build like a terrain, and there's water tiles, and there's sand tiles, and they all do something else. Like, they all do different things and affect your movement and all this kind of shit. So it's a fun little game. And he, at some point, had purchased some new ones that weren't, like, they don't come painted. Now, okay, apparently people who get into tabletop games like this, a huge appeal of the thing is to paint the minifigs. So a lot of them are available at the very minimum, or even primarily sold as unpainted minifig sets, you know, and with more tiles, and like other terrain things. Anyway, so it's a fun little game, and painting minifigs is fun. We're trying to copy more or less what is on the little card that comes with it. Like, it comes with a card that has a picture of the character on it, and we're trying to copy that, but we're having to mix custom paint. We're making different creative decisions. So it's been good. Oh no! Quantum Chaos, who recently broke their wrist, is now leaving the hospital for the third time in the past week. Had to replace the cast on the wrist because the pool filter exploded and sprayed a bunch of water on the cast and disintegrated it. Awesome. My friend recommended you to me. Haven't watched much, but you seem cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really pleased that the channel seems to be growing right now, and we are accomplishing it in a way that isn't leading to profound burnout. Like, I feel so good today, you guys. It's like, I don't have any of my little random health things. Like, I don't feel overheated this morning. My heart hasn't done anything weird. I don't have like brain fog. In fact, like, I feel like my brain is working a lot better than usual. I'm like, oh, I see. Okay, I'm going to do this. And then next I'm going to do this. And then next I'm going to do that. And I'm like remembering each step, not perfectly. Sometimes I'll get a little off track and forget. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be refilling the soap containers. So today's feels really good. And I think it might be part of, like, I just had a completely unstressful day yesterday. I was basically not on my computer. Well, I was on my computer in the morning, but I was doing stuff like playing games, and I wasn't, like, on the fucking social media bullshit. I wasn't exposing myself to yet more crazy things that are happening, focusing on something that has a physical product and that I'm proud of. And we watched what? We watched Alien. We watched, oh my God, I was not paying very close attention to what we were watching. Eventually we watched Cars. We also watched Predator. I think there's a fourth one that I just can't remember right now. But yeah, it was a very chill time. I wish for you all to have like a day where you just feel fine. Isn't that crazy? Just I'm like, wow, I feel fine today. And that is like, ah, feels magical. I've had the worst brain fog for the last few weeks. I'm not sure if I had asymptomatic COVID or I'm just burning out. I mean, I feel like the treatment is the same functionally. Like whichever it is, you have to rest. And then when you try to get back to work after a period of rest, then you can find out whether you were just burned out or whether you do have some kind of chronic illness now. How to Rule an Asteroid says, I build D&D terrain and work in miniature for dioramas too. I really enjoy watching like YouTube videos of people who make dioramas. Man, they're very cool, especially ones where there's an underwater element and then they pour in like a bunch of resin to fill it up. I like those a lot. They're cute. Has the heat left y'all in the valley? Praise, yes. Oh my God. It's been warm lately, and finally today we have some clouds in the valley. It's cooled off a little bit here on the coast. Like, ooh, it's good. I've been so happy today. I like opened the windows all this morning. I was like, I live for cloudy days. I know that I'm such a weirdo for that. And like people who are from here are so confused. They're like, why are you? Because we'll say, like, my husband and I both, we're like, oh, God, I love the rain. I'm so happy it's raining today. I'm psyched. Or like, oh, I'm really looking forward to the rain this weekend. And they're like, what is wrong with you? Like, y'all don't appreciate it. It's so nice. I was made to live in the mountains and in a beautiful valley and near the ocean. Like, it just feels so good. I do miss Kansas, but today I'm just like, man, this was the right move. I'm happy. Even though it was, a complicated feelings. We have like refugee status, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it was also a good move. Hey, welcome to the website, Spenny James. By the way, if you don't know, on YouTube, I'm talking to you, YouTube chat. First of all, hit the like button, which you can only do on YouTube. But it's quick, it's easy, it's free, and it tells YouTube to show this to more people. I'm really excited that our success of the channel is like movie reviews, which is stuff that I want to talk about, and like chilling on stream and not having a political requirement, which I'm also pretty psyched about. But on the website chat, you also get custom emojis and stuff that you don't get on YouTube. So come over here. Spenny says, Luxander, do you have a favorite genre of music? Or are you like me, someone that likes all kinds of music and doesn't think about the genre? So most of the time, I don't like listening to music. I think something about the part of my brain that does melody and the part of my brain that does language, when those parts of my brain are activated, it's really hard for me to focus on other things. So, like, if I'm going to listen to music, I usually do it if I am trying to drown out my thoughts. And most of the time, I don't want to do that. Like, most of the time, I'm trying to do something or I'm trying to think about something, and it's just really hard for me to function when music is playing. But when I like to listen to music on those occasions that I do, I mean, I'm a big fan of comedy music. Bo Burnham, Tim Minchin, like, I know Rhett and Link have some of their silly rap battles. Like, those are stuff that I like to listen to. I like pop music. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely the kind of person who wants to like, So pop music, pop alternative rock as a kind of subgenre. I used to be into like the trifecta of emo music back in the day. Don't listen to that stuff very often anymore, but it was kind of a defining chapter of my life. So there you go. Surprisingly, I like listening to country music. It was part of how I voice trained to like deepen my voice to get more comfortable in my lower register. And like 2008 era techno pop music, that's a beloved era of time for me. So that's kind of an overview. I do listen to some rock music. I do not listen to metal at all. Um, I guess like some. How do we describe the genre of like Usher and stuff nowadays? Is that I feel like when I was growing up, we loosely called it R&B, but it's like I don't know if it actually is rhythm and blues. I don't know. Trans Cat Girl, welcome to the website. Hell yeah, I love the pentagram straps. Yes. You know, for a fake goth person, I certainly have a lot of options of goth outfits and accessories. Like Cascada Base Hunter. I don't know Base Hunter, but Cascada sounds familiar. Um, Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling. That. Okay, Usher equals modern R&B slash pop. Okay, yeah, hip hop. Okay, yeah, sure, hip hop. I'll go with that. I grew up in, I mean, like Kansas City. If you guys know, it is like there is a pretty large proportion of like Puerto Ricans and Black folks, and um, I want to say, weirdly enough, like a very specific Asian minority, like Vietnamese people. I don't know. It was like a higher percentage than average. So anyway, a lot of different cultures and languages in the area where I grew up, and so yeah, when I went to like school dances and stuff, it was all Usher and all this kind of shit. So I did listen to a lot of that, and there's a lot of like comfortable familiarity with it. What am I drinking? This is tea. Today it is. What are we drinking? We're drinking a green tea with a marigold in it. So marigold, um, green tea. Hi, Mr. Baby. Are you a good boy? Yeah. What do you want? You want scritches? Butt scritches? He's getting to butt scritches. Okay. Um, yeah, it's one of my blooming teas. I'm really into tea now, and one of the things that I really love is you can get these teas that come in a compacted little ball most of the time, and the ball is like maybe an inch all the way around, and you put that in a clear glass teapot, and you pour your boiling water into it, and it like opens up and blooms with flowers. That's kind of the whole point. So there's almost always a different flower. I was choosing between one of them had jasmine and lily, and one of them had maybe like hyacinth or something. I don't know. So yeah, this one had marigold, and there's a little bit of a touch of heavy cream and then some honey in it. That's how I like my tea. Casey Mo does actually have a pretty good food scene outside of barbecue. Yeah, yeah. And like nowadays there's a whole food truck culture increasingly, I think everywhere, because I've seen it here as well in the Valley and in Portland. But yeah, sorry, trans cat girl earlier said something about liking my pentagram straps. This is, I think you would call this a harness. Although this is like the lowest quality harness, TBH. It's not leather, it's made out of like elastic, but yeah. It's separate from my shirt. It's just under my shirt. Honker Jones, what a fascinating name. Honker Jones. I've never heard of Caleb Hiles. I don't think so anyway. Unsweetened green tea, cold. I mean, that happens to me sometimes when I forget my tea, but I haven't drank plain... Well, I did drink plain tea this week on Takis. Not on purpose, but because I just didn't have time to put cream in my tea before the show started. That was my bad. I was running a little late that day. But yeah, I haven't really like deliberately drank unsweetened tea in a while. And it was before I got so comfortable with it that I started forgetting my hot tea in the kitchen until it was cold. I drink black teas. Yeah, my favorite right now is a black tea with rose petals in it. I need to get more soon. I'm really getting close to running out because I keep drinking that one and it's yummy. I use Splenda in my tea. Ooh. We have never really gotten into artificial sweeteners. or alternatives like Splenda to sugar. I think I had some agave syrup for a while. There was some specific thing I was trying to accomplish, and I don't remember what it was. I don't remember whether I liked the taste or like what prevented me from using it. I don't know. But honey is, I love honey. I'm not allergic to it or anything. Like, YouTube changed my name from Jason Jones. So I changed it to Honker Jones, and they changed it again. So now I have multiple YouTube names because I'm old. Yeah, they made some changes. I know. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are on the new changes that they've made to the YouTube live chat function. Now, of course, a good portion of you are on my website chat, so none of you are seeing any of that stuff anyway. 43 people in here, 35 likes. Let's pump up those numbers, babes. Even if you decide you don't want to sit in here and hang out with us meandering through our conversation, hit the like button before you leave. And then someone else will see this show and be like, ooh, I do want to go hang out there. What was I about to say? What? Oh yeah, they made some changes to the live chat. So they're rewarding you for sending in chats on the chat and for sending in super chats, and that's gaining you experience. Which is, so it's not exactly like Twitch, because I think Twitch does things that reward you for just sitting there watching. So that is something that rewards the lurkers as well. But they do want to encourage interaction, because interaction is one of the ways that we tell YouTube, hey, people want to see this content. And that's increasingly across the whole platform too. Like, little hot tip from me to you. Do you feel like the YouTube algorithm has been all over the place lately? Do you feel like you don't, like, it's showing you things and you're like, why are you showing me this? Blah, blah, blah. It's because they've started changing what they prioritize in terms of, like, what kind of feedback are they getting from viewers that is, like, successfully keeping them on the platform and whatever. It used to be whatever, they used to prioritize views way back in the day, right? And then they started prioritizing watch time, which really hurt, like, animation channels, because animations are only like 1 or 2 minutes long. Remember that back in the day? It's been forever, right? But they've changed it again, and now they're, instead of prioritizing watch time, they're prioritizing interactions. So they want you, and not just hitting the like button. The like button is part of it, but what they really want is lengthy comments, like somewhat lengthy comments. They want shares, and then, like, to the lesser degree they want views, and then to the lesser degree they want watch time and views. So if you're like, oh my god, it's not showing me things the way that I want it to, and also if you know of some creators who are like, wow, the algorithm has been really nuking my videos lately, like, what's going on? The way to influence the algorithm to actually show things that you want to see and to help the creators who you like the most is to use those functions, you know, like put a comment. If you can think of something actually thoughtful that will give it a little bit of length, then do that. Sharing, of course, out to other platforms helps for a number of different reasons. So, yeah. Yeah, finally a good use for my tendency to talk way too much, truly. I figured out which tea they usually serve at Chinese restaurants. It's jasmine tea. I'm a big fan of jasmine tea. I have a really nice jasmine tea. I don't think chat should feel like a competition to be the person who says the most. Yeah, I understand that position. That's why I like that Twitch has a little thing. Yeah, if you just sit there watching for 5 minutes, it pops up a thing that you can click and you can get some points just for sitting there watching. So I do hope that YouTube considers implementing something like that. Cuz I get it. When I'm watching a live stream, and actually the reason why I don't watch live streams very much is because I find it really difficult not to respond. Like, I just feel compelled to comment. Because I'm a talkative bitch, you know what I mean? So that's part of why I don't. So, but when I do, the option of lurking is appealing. Like, okay, I'm just going to put this on in the background and kind of listen to it and ignore the fact that it's live and that I could tell them what I'm thinking in the chat. I've had a consistent recommended feed this whole time. Okay. And Ancom Jane, do you also see like the creators that you like to watch the most are like they have not made any comments about the algorithm changing? Because maybe it's affecting different parts of the ecosystem differently. Honker Jones has just described me as muscle mommy dragon gothbrarian. I love that. That's really good. Kim, thank you. Yes, the pentagram. You know, we got to embrace that we're a little evil. Gothbrarian spore spawn. Ooh, you managed to work in a mushroom thing there, and I do love mushrooms. Or I guess you know what, moss also propagates by spores, so that's fascinating. I went to find your website, but it told me it was under construction. It then sent me back to YouTube. So my website does say it's under construction on the front page, and I have mentioned this to my website builder multiple times, and it just keeps sliding through her attention, which is fine. I'll message her about it again sometime soon. But you can still, like, it says it's under construction, but it should be basically functional except for that. So if you click the live button in the top right corner, it should bring you to a page where you can see the live stream and the chat, and you can log in and everything that way. But if you click in and you click like YouTube or you click videos at the top, then yeah, it's going to take you back to my YouTube channel. Horny but charming. Well, that's fine. I'm fine with it. Listen, I'm leaning in to the idea of the muscle mommy thing. I will say part of why the stream, oh my god, what direction is it? The stream goal is about the cat. Meow. I will pick up the cat and show you the cat. Because I haven't really been working out in the same way. I'm doing a lot of recumbent bike, but I haven't been doing a lot of strength training because I'm trying to balance my level of activity with like the type of diet that I'm trying to have right now, like the kind of nutrition that I'm aiming for right now. And it just doesn't have a lot of room at this particular moment for me to go heavy on strength training. So, yeah. Did I get that star thing for you? What star thing are we talking about right now? Star thing. Under construction is such a 2000s vibe. Yeah. Quantum Chaos says, I'm guessing part of it is that YouTube wants live streams to be more interactive than Twitch, which is more passive on average. YouTube has normal videos for that and wants to reward creator/fan direct interaction. Yeah. Oh, you mean like, so YouTube like can expect, well, okay. So normally I might agree with you that the consumption of a video on YouTube is a more passive action. But the fact is that YouTube is trying to change interactivity across the platform. They are trying to encourage more fan interaction on the videos because that is the behavior that is rewarded by the video then being pushed to a broader audience. So it's like my videos being successful with my subscribers in the first 24 hours, really, that I'm sure includes like how many people are actually commenting on this and interacting, as well as watching more than half the video and, you know, watching past the intro 30 seconds. Like there's so much bullshit that's really frustrating. Is like a video can be really good, but because of a bunch of arbitrary stuff or maybe just like slightly bad timing, the video will just flop because it wasn't successful in the first 24 hours. It's fucking stupid. Mab says the algorithm frequently seems confused by my interests. Sometimes it'll just collapse and recommend random things, which I don't want to see that as a bad thing necessarily, because the idea that you should be fed things that are outside your typical niche, like, I think that's a good concept, except when it decides to start showing you right-wing stuff, and then you're like, why are you doing this to me? But sometimes I will be shown a live stream that has fewer than 20 concurrent viewers. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's trying to show me smaller channels. That's excellent. I love that. And sometimes I will see a video that only has 200 views. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's a good thing. You should be trying to show me small channels. That's great. Whether I actually watch a lot of that content remains to be seen, you know. I think a lot of the time I'll be scrolling through YouTube for a really long period and I won't want to click on anything. I'm like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Not enough for me to start clicking on things and going, not interested, like, don't show me this anymore. But I think the problem is that what I actually am craving is, like, narrative, like something that is engaging in the particular way that narrative is engaging. And of course, like, you're just not going to get that on YouTube for the most part. I do think some channels try to have a narrative structure, like Try Guys videos. The way that Nick talks about them, I think Nick is his name, the skinny one with the glasses on the health issues. He is always like, yeah, we will edit and recut the video and maybe put events in a different order than they actually happened on the day in order to give the video a narrative structure, in order for you to, you know, feel like, oh, there's like a second act fall and then the third act redemption or whatever, like, so that it has like rising and falling tension. And I actually don't mind that. I think that's fine. Like a slight dishonesty for the sake of narrative structure. Suffered unforeseen financial setbacks and had to pull up on my damn spending for at least another month. Damn, yeah. I completely understand. I'm about to have to go over our whole budget with my partner, and like, he just started having a car payment every month, so I want to like look at everything and be like, let's make sure that this is proportionate, that everybody's paying like a proportionate amount for all the stuff that we need every month. And like, hopefully there will be the ability to save money, but like, I want health insurance. I don't have health insurance right now, and it's going to cost some money per month for me to just have health insurance. And then hopefully the kind of health services that I need are covered by that health insurance, right? So yeah, it would be nice to live in a world where our dollars were not being stretched thinner and thinner. This is like, it's one of the things that I notice a lot, obviously, because like, I pay for groceries in my house. My partner tends to pay for things that are the same every month, like our rent. My partner pays that. It's one big chunk, whatever. I pay for groceries. It's like a weekly thing. And I try to be pretty smart about my purchases. There are some products that it's like the brand name is just better, so you get the brand name, you know? Like, I'm going to get Dawn dish soap. I'm not going to get Walmart brand dish soap. And things like this. But like, even with being like mostly really smart with how I spend money, like, the cost at the grocery store continue to increase, and that is like outside of my control. The only thing you can really do, I guess, is I'm starting to look into more local options. Like, what are they called? It's called a CSA, but I don't want to just leave that there because CSA is also standing for something else. A CSA is a community supported agriculture farm. And the way that it works is you pay a bulk fee, like for a membership, and then you, for most of them at least, you receive like a box of produce like once a week. Or I saw one that was like, you can order online whatever you want. And basically your subscription fee that you pay is more like loading money into an account that you can then choose what vegetables you want, and it just gets deducted from that total amount every month. But the whole point is you pay up front, And that like is a bulk amount of money that the farmers can then work with, and they typically work on a subscription service, or maybe you might pay in bulk at the beginning of the year like $700, or monthly it's like $200 or something like that. uh, and it's like a super great way to support farms. And if you pay at the beginning of the season like $700, boom, they can buy like seeds and um, any fertilizer they might need at the beginning of the growing season. So it's a really cool business model and everything. But I've been looking into that kind of thing because I'm like, would I actually save money doing that? Or at the very minimum, even if you're not saving money doing it, if it's more or less breaking even, or even if it's a little bit more, at least the money is being like put back into your local communities instead of being siphoned away to Walmart, you know? Charmin TP is superior to store brand. Don't at me. I actually just recently bought um, a very large bulk amount of Cottonelle toilet paper. I was buying like, I think Walmart brand toilet paper, and the stuff was so thin and it would tear, and I hated it, and I was so annoyed. I was like, listen, this is an annoyance for me every single time I go to the bathroom. Like literally every single time I go to the bathroom, and I pee a lot because I need a lot. I have to drink a lot of water because I have chronic dehydration. Okay, so I'm drinking all these fluids and I have to pee all the time. It is too much of a daily thing. Like, you know, these are the things. Okay, if I'm gonna give a little bit of sagely advice today, here's what it is. It is worth a greater investment in something that you have to encounter many, many times a day, or frequently, regardless, like whatever the time period is. If it's something that you have to interact with relatively frequently, however frequently that feels to you, then you should invest a little bit more into it. Because if something is pissing you off 5 or 6 times a day, that's too much stress, like on top of everything else that you're dealing with. So even if it's something like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pay like almost double the amount that I would normally pay on toilet paper. First of all, I'm buying in bulk, so I'm saving as much money as I possibly can by buying the largest amount that I can and then like stashing it in closets and stuff. Okay. And then like, look at that. That's a thing that pisses me off 6 times a day that is just not a problem anymore. Like, I simply do not have a problem anymore. So, yeah. Before I forgot, I've been on the website for over a year. Nice. We passed your cake day. Cake day was not on a stream day for you. Hell yeah. Look at that. That's another thing that I like about our website chat functions, is that it has a cake day, so you know, oh, like, hey, I subscribed a year ago or 2 years ago. Not subscribed, but made your account on the website. Honker Jones is getting on the CSA thing we were talking about, the community share thing, that it's like having a cow share or a small co-op that all of you chip in, and the people who know how to farm grow enough crop and proteins for everyone to benefit for a much lower cost than they would otherwise spend paying for a tractor each, a farm each, a cow each, etc. Yeah, and like, I just learned what a cow share is. It's when a group of people all pay whatever percentage works out to pay the full amount for an entire cow, and then that cow gets butchered, and then you end up paying less per pound for that beef when the cow is slaughtered and butchered down. So that's another neat thing. One of the farms I was looking at was like, one of the things that you get with your subscription is raw milk product, and I'm like, no, I don't think I'm gonna support that farm. Even like, I know I could like get their subscription and then just simply not partake myself in the raw milk stuff, but I'm just so fundamentally concerned about that on a hygiene level and like a public health level that I feel like I can't support that farm. Bidets are the best toilet paper. I hope to get one someday. No, I did just make I've started. I took my like wish list. I was telling you guys like I have some things on my wish list that I just recently made. And I finally like I moved that over to like the kitchen whiteboard, and one of the things on the list is a bidet. I don't actually know. I feel like a lot of rentals have toilet seats that are not able to have a bidet. Like there needs to be a certain amount of space between the toilet seat and the solid part of the toilet, and a lot of them have like really flush connection points where there's not very much space in there. So I don't actually know if we can put a bidet on our toilet, but I would love to try. I really would love to try. Yeah, no, fuck those people. Right. Yeah, I'm like, I did buy milk from a local person recently. Actually, when I say recently, I mean in fucking February. But it was pasteurized milk, you know? And I'm like, I'm not going to buy raw milk. I will drink pasteurized milk, excuse me. But raw milk is disgusting. Oh, are you talking about a... Okay, so I think that Honker Jones is extrapolating that a cow share is also something that you can do with a dairy cow. Like you all pitch in money and then you get consistent milk from that cow, and you can have those products and byproducts to keep you going for long term. Sure. But it's like I do I want to pasteurize the milk myself? I would like I might as well have my own cow at that point. Hunker also adds, goats are awesome. I think I'll be getting one of those as soon as I put a down payment on the land I've been eyeballing for my mental health retreat and bushcraft survival training camp. Fun. Goats, the thing is that goats are more social. Like they might actually suffer from being, like if you only have one goat, like they might prefer social interaction that way, but also they will spend literally all of their time trying to figure out how to escape. That's what I know about goats. I don't know very much personally about goats. That's just the what I've heard. I had those raw milk anti-vax parents. It's a wonder I survived, honestly. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. My parents had an anti-vax phase, but I think it passed. This just sounds like an economy, but with fewer steps. Listen, it's called a local economy. You know? That's the thing. Like right now, we have a global economy where I go to Walmart and I spend $100 a week and or whatever, and I pay for products that come from who the fuck knows where, you know? And like I know nothing about the process that it has gone through to get to my table. And a local economy is just like, yeah, I walked to the farmer's market and I bought stuff from the person who grows it, or a person who works directly for the person who grows it, because sometimes the farmers themselves don't go to the farm stands. They have employees who do that. Because I know somebody who works at a farm like that, actually, back in Kansas. But yeah, so you have much more direct connection. And you're investing the money locally, and so like, okay, I gave money to that person, and especially if you're very selective about who you buy from, like they are also buying shit locally from other farmers or from whatever, or like maybe they sell their beeswax to a local candle maker, right? And so like stimulating your local economy, I think is going to be super duper duper important, especially the more the federal shit goes to hell. Like I just think that it's probably a good idea to be investing in local communities so that they can have more robust product and services, right? Like those farms are never going to be able to expand or take on new partnerships if they're not making more money. So I love goats. Yeah. The only like interactions with goats that I've had have been in petting zoos, and they're fine. I think they're very funny. I did watch a video recently of just a bunch of goats being really silly. Goats are really silly. Hello, Mama Mephi. The website wouldn't let me log in with my normal account. It served me a 401 error trying to log in with the account attached to my Reddit. Okay, well, let me know if that persists. I always recommend having more than one way to log onto your account. Like, I would recommend if you can connect it to like your Discord as well as your Reddit, like make sure that there's always more than one way to get into your account. Haha. Mephi says, it's really hard to get beekeepers to sell their beeswax. Every time you ask, they're like, it's none of your beeswax. You're a dork. But I appreciate it. I also want 2 alpacas who will love the goats. Sure, sure. Like what? Is the alpaca for the fiber? You're gonna also have like a yarn business? Quantum says 401 unauthorized usually just means the wrong password or bad token. Okay. Yeah. I've seen those too, that people will take their goats and it's like a landscaping company. They basically are like, yeah, we will bring our 50 goats and like let them, we set up like a little temporary fence and just let them loose in the area and they eat everything and just brings it all the way down to the ground. Quantum recommends Mephi that you should try clearing your cache and cookies and then try logging in again. Shakespeare says, I had chickens. They were fun little gals. I do want chickens at some point. Yeah. I think actually if I could get away with it, I would actually build a chicken coop now, but I don't think I could get away with it in my rental situation. Like, I think that someone would get pissed off. Like, one of my neighbors would be like, what are you doing? And they would tell someone, and then I'd get in trouble. Is a nanny a female goat? Nannies are less prone to run, especially if you don't have a billy. My plan is to get 2 nannies soon and breed them every other year. Keep the girls, sell the boys for gorse eaters. Is gorse like fucking goat lamb? Little side hustle that will lead to goat cheese in my farm store. Yes. Oh my god. I've only had goat cheese a couple of times, but it's delicious. Like, it's truly like, it's crazy how good it is. It's like really tangy, and like the goat cheese that I had was soft, so I guess it was not aged very much, if at all. Oh my god, it was so good. Semi Locon, hello. Ember says, geese also make pretty good lawnmowers. Yeah, and chickens too. Like, smaller scale level, but chickens will eat like the grass and the bugs and everything. I've seen people who have like mobile chicken coops, or it's not the chicken coop itself, but like the chicken run where they're allowed to be during the day, because the coop is like a house where they go sleep at night. But the chicken run, they'll have a thing that's like on wheels, and they'll move it around the yard so that they can pick at different areas of the yard. Yeah, I've seen all kinds of stuff. Geese are just mean. I do kind of love the idea of like, if I have a chunk of land, having a pond and having some geese live there, because the geese will also be like a huge deterrent for I mean, like any trespassers or animals or anything. Like, the geese will be the first warning, and also the geese will fuck up smaller predators like a coyote or something. Like, a goose would fuck up a fox. Anything bigger than that, and that's why you have like a big dog outside as well, or even a few big dogs for like a bear or something. But yeah, a geese would absolutely fuck up a smaller predator. Chicken tractor, drag it from place to place and let the birds eat and fertilize your lawn. That's, yeah, exactly that too. They shit in the lawn and it fertilizes it a little bit. Nikki says, I want to make mead. It's something I should look into more. Yes, I also wanted to make mead a few years ago, and I dove deep into it. And then I was like, maybe I don't even like honey that much. And then now I realize I do like honey. It just has to be decent quality honey. I don't really like shitty honey. Turns out it's just a quality issue. But if you get good local honey, yeah, it's expensive to the initial investment to make mead. Like 1 pound of honey, especially 1 pound of local honey, is not inexpensive. And then you're only getting like, I think it's 1 pound of honey to 1 gallon of mead at the end product. But it is super interesting, and I love knowing things about it. Simi Locon, thank you for the tier 1 sub, says jammies. Yes, indeed. Jammies. That's a cute little emoji. Thank you for the $5, or I don't know if it was multiple months. It doesn't actually show me. I would have to look at my PayPal to discover if that was like a 3-month one. Did you do it? Yes, that was $12 in donations. Thank you. On our way to meow. Meow. There we go. Thank you again. To quote a Vine, not to be racist, but I love goat cheese. That's not even racist. Well, I said I wasn't being racist. That's funny. Semi-Locon confirms that it's a pain in the ass to log onto this website. My Reddit authorization only got an error 401, so I had to use Discord, and then it tells me there's some unspecified error, but it still worked for some reason. Yeah, if that persists for very long, I will ping White Nervosa about it, but it's if it's only something incidental, it might actually be because something changed with like Reddit API, and then like maybe it's like you need to relog into your Reddit account or something. I'm not sure. Goat cheese is the best cheese to go with figs. Yo, figs are so delicious, and I love their weird little texture. We got some dried figs recently, and we did a whole charcuterie, and one of the things we had was dried figs, and it was delicious. Oh my god, Mama Muffy says, cut the figs open, stuff them with goat cheese, wrap it in prosciutto, and put a balsamic glaze on them, and then a little fresh basil. Ooh! I'm not really a big fan of cured meats like prosciutto, it turns out, but otherwise that sounds amazing. There's a homestead channel I watch called Gold Shaw Farm where they have a Maremma sheepdog to guard their geese and ducks. Yeah, totally. Those kind of cute, very large dogs. They are, you gotta have like one big dog and maybe like 2 smaller dogs that are more like a shepherd breed. But I feel like it's good to have a few dogs. Especially if you live in a place where there's fucking mountain lions and fucking bears and shit. Ty Turner has an affinity for the honking modern dinos. Honking? Oh, for geese. Yeah, I mean, his dog is named Goose, right? It's a weirdly common name for a big dog like that. Goose. I've heard it multiple times. Dried clearing my cookies and cash, no luck. Probably a Reddit issue. Yeah, if Reddit is the thing in common, then I would guess it's something about the connection. I met a chicken run cat. The family has it locked in with the chickens behind the wire, and its job is to keep the run safe from stoats and weasels. She's a fucking cutie and loves the baby chicks. Aw, that's so cute. Aw. I don't like dates or figs. I don't get the appeal. I mean, sure, yeah, it's not for everybody. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know. I feel like my tastes are changing as I get older as well. Like, oh, I'm in my 30s and I like sweet things less and I like bitter things more, and that's normal. Stoats will fuck up chickens. Totally, yeah, little weasel bitches. Yeah, Great Pyrenees is one that I've looked at for fighting off coyotes. Or like Mastiff, maybe. Because I feel like, I moved to a place where it's supposed to be rainier and cooler all year, but it's been 90-degree days the last couple of weeks. Like lots of 90-degree days. One day where it was 100 degrees or almost 100 degrees. So I feel like Pyrenees, it doesn't get cold enough here in the winter, and it also gets too hot here in the summer for, I think, a Great Pyrenees to just like live outside all the time, but something like a Mastiff with like shorter haired dog might do better. Honker Jones, Zug Zug, I'm sorry you have to go to work. I salute you. I think a couple different types of dogs on a homestead would be good. You get a couple terriers, a black lab companion dog, and a livestock guardian dog. Sure, yeah, some kind of mixture thereof. If there was a cat, yeah, like I agree. If you have a cat doing the job of like looking over your farm, it should be locked in somewhere. Where like, this cat cannot be allowed to just roam the yard killing birds. That's not acceptable. But if it was locked in with the chickens and only was defending after things get inside the chicken coop, like, okay, that makes more sense. Haha, haha. You went to Oregon because it's rainier? Sorry, but Mount Rainier is in Washington. Goober. Stoats are just honey badgers with a size deficiency? Yeah, they do seem real mean. They're very cute, but real mean. I've never liked dates or figs. They seem like very grown-up sweets, TBF. Not that that's why I don't like them. I would encourage you to try again. Like, your tastes will just change. And it feels weird because, something like whether you enjoy a food or not feels like something that would be like a concrete fact about you as a human person, but it isn't, and that can be disconcerting. But it is normal as you get older that you just, like, you don't want sweet things as much, and you're cool with bitter flavors. Like, bitter flavors are nicer, which means that you kind of start enjoying a complexity of flavors more and like interactions of flavors more, in a way that like sometimes will fundamentally change. You'll be like, I do not like when I was a kid, hated green bean casserole. As an adult, oh my god, I love green bean casserole. It is genuinely like one of my favorite things on the Thanksgiving menu. Big fan. In fact, I should make it more than just at Thanksgiving. Like, I think once or twice a year, you just need to have some non-holiday oriented green bean casserole. And I feel like that's true with a lot of different things. If I drink coffee now, I drink it with way less sugar or way less cream. I love dark chocolate, right? Not that I don't like milk chocolate, but I do. I'm like, oh, dark chocolate. It was weird because I used to love Havarti cheese, and then one day it was like a switch flipped, and now I hate it. That happens too. I used to love Sprite, and now I hate it. Yeah, I used to drink Sprite all the time, and now I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Overdid it. Have you heard of the Bocaron Shepherd? Oh, okay. New dog just dropped. Okay, interesting. So this is what this dog looks like. It has the coloring of a Rottweiler, or maybe sometimes the coloring of like a healer. That's a little bit like a healer coloration. It's imposing and powerful, but also remarkably smart, spirited, and a versatile herder. Imagine a border collie's brain and a 100-pound body. Okay, but what does that tell me? How much does a border collie usually weigh? Border collie weight. Okay, a border collie is usually 30 to 55 pounds. Okay, so yes, the Bocaron dog. What is this? Where is it? What is it breed? Okay, yeah, is a mix of what? The Beauceron came from France in the 16th century. It is not a very common breed. It's known as the Berger de Beauce or Barouge. They are large, independent dogs who are mainly used for herding sheep and cattle. This herding dog has unending energy and is bred from the Briard and possibly the Doberman. Okay, cool. I feel like that dog would be hella expensive. But, I think ultimately it's all about, like, finding a mutt that has the personality that you're looking for. Because I'm not going to buy a purebred dog, Anatolian Shepherd. Okay, hold on. New dog just dropped. This is a dog that apparently is a nice big dog, but it can handle the heat. Okay. And look at this. There's a YouTube video that's like the ultimate showdown. Great Pyrenees versus Anatolian Shepherd. The Great Pyrenees and the Anatolian Shepherd are exceptional livestock guardians with unique strengths and characteristics. All right, cool. Fun. Dalmatians are a herding dog. I did not know. Okay, Mephi is out here saying basil soda is really good. You just put basil, sugar, and club soda together. You can make basil sugar by putting basil and sugar in a blender. Oh, it's just basil sugar. So, like, you can dry... I guess you probably would dry out the basil and then whip it up with some sugar, and then you have a specific little condiment now. Oh, okay. Interesting. That does sound kind of good. I bet... Is it, like... It's, like, cold? You would put it with ice? Like, cold summertime drink? That sounds really fucking refreshing, actually. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Kitty is saying that the largest... There's a giant sea otter which can be over 6 foot long and 140 pounds. Oh my god, what? That's crazy. You gotta use the basil sugar same day or freeze it. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Nikki Valentine, you are on the website now. Welcome over. Hi. We lost people with all of our farm talk. We had like 50 people in here, and then we were talking about farms and dogs and stuff, and people got bored and they left. Sorry, guys. I'm a survivalist, okay? Sorry you can't handle it. I'm out here trying to live through the apocalypse. I know that some of you are so focused on your 9 to 5. It's impossible to imagine that you might need to, like, think about producing your own food for the apocalypse, but hey. LaCroix and bubbly is like the perfect kind of carbonation flavor combination that I'm looking for. Dude, okay, I had a revelation the other day, unrelated to what you just said. Also, Vosh went live, so you probably lost a few Voshites. Listen, okay, well, I was about to say I'm way hotter than Vosh, but that's a weird way to put us in competition. It's like, why wouldn't you want to be here? Talking to someone who's way hotter than Vosh, you know? They don't have my strength of will to just watch 2 streams simultaneously. Yeah, how dare it? How dare he go live? Anyway, I had a revelation recently. Is the appeal of getting your own... Oh, fuck, what are they called? What is it called? The thing that carbonates water for you. There's like a brand name that I want to use. I can't think of what it is called. But an at-home carbonation machine. Is the appeal to that, like, I want water that doesn't have any calories, but also, like, has a little something something going on? Because I'm kind of starting to understand maybe why people would buy, like, a 12-pack of bubbly water, except that I don't want... SodaStream, thank you. Except that I don't want to... First of all, obviously the recycling issue. But also, like, they are always low calorie, but not 0 calorie. So is the appeal to getting your own SodaStream to have carbonated water that's actually truly 0 calorie? Is that why people get them? That's like the thought that I had, the revelation that I had. Not me literally watching 2 streams simultaneously while doing mythology research. What does Vosh talk about nowadays? I haven't really been keeping track. His chat it goes way too fast. So I don't go hang out there very much. So yeah, okay, the title is AOC fucks up, Socialist Omar wins Minneapolis mayoral primary, Jubilee lied to Hassan, and more. Okay. Oh my god, 4,000 people watching. That's too many people. I would love to get to a point where we just casually have like 200 people watching. I feel like that would be a decent amount of viewers and money coming in. Like, but oh man, 4,000 people is so many. Right now he's talking about shaving and hair care. I'm so proud of him talking about dumb shit that people don't care about. Because yeah, I can also talk about shaving and hair care. Because like I definitely have talked about those things. Why you look like that in the thumbnail? I'm trying this thing where I'm exploiting how attractive I am to see if I can get more viewers. So that's why I look like that in the thumbnail. And also, like, I look like that in the thumbnail because that's how I look like today, you know? Like, this is how I would look today. So it's completely accurate to what you're getting when you click in here. It's just me talking. Zoran, is it okay? Somebody can tell me, because I don't ever listen to the videos. I only watch the videos with the subtitles. Is it Zoran or Zoran? Because I saw Bernie Sanders said Zoran. I did actually listen to that one. Rarely. Rarely do I listen to one with the sound on. He talks about clothes too. I know. I love that he talks about fashion. Like, that's what I'm doing here. I'm committing to talking about just whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And if people want to hang out, then chill. Like, there's 4,000 people right now listening to Vosh talk about shaving. It's Zoran. Okay, that's what I thought. Bernie Sanders said it wrong. Zoran. But anyway, Cycloplebe Alien says Zoran might be one of the hottest politicians I've seen with my eyes through a screen. He's pretty attractive. So what is the emphasis on the first Zor, but then it is still on Zoran. If it makes you feel better, I stopped watching Vosh but carried on watching you. You have my vote. Yes. Yeah. How dare he go live during my regular time. Okay, thank you, Gayfish. We got it. Website kicked me back to YouTube. Okay, I don't know what's happening with your shit right now, Nikki. I've never heard of that happening. Naomi says, I never watched Vosh, but I thought he kind of got fucked over by his being a creep. The only thing that I've seen Vosh do that was actually creepy was like 8 years ago, and he's acknowledged that it was creepy and that it was not appropriate and that he has learned from being a creep and is not doing it anymore. Like, the more recent stuff, it all just seems like pretty spurious. Like, I just had someone comment on the YouTube channel this past week, like, ooh, this comment didn't age well because it turns out Vosh, whatever, about his porn folder. And I'm like, I have watched the clip and the screenshot and I've seen it, and I don't really understand what the problem is. What I understand is that one of the pieces of art in the folder was drawn by someone who also draws other things that are unsavory in some manner. But that the actual contents of Vosh's folder were basically just normal porn. And it's like, yeah, that was a dumb thing to do for him to do. Like, that was not smart. But also, the contents of the folder did not add to the idea that he's a pedo. So you're just pedo jacketing a queer man? Like, that's all you're doing? Not you specifically, Naomi, but like people who are falling for this narrative. It just seems like, well, normal. There's horses in there. Well, whatever. Sure. What fucking who cares? Like, he's a weird guy and we all have like weird shit that we're into. And I feel like just because some of us don't know any better than to be quiet about it. He's just like, yeah, I'm openly into horse porn. It's like, whatever. Okay, who cares? It's all drawn anyway. It's not like there's fucking exploitative animal shit going on. Like, it's fine. Calm down. A lot of queer men seem to be into horses. Oh, wow. I did not know that. I just think he is cringe and you are based. I mean, you know. Honestly, before people made a fuss, everyone was just laughing about it because there were horses. Fair, yeah. I mean, and you're allowed to have the opinion, like, okay, when you say zoophilia is so gross, to be clear, my understanding of Vosh's kink is like he is turned on by the idea of him having a horse dick. That is my understanding of the context of this. So it's like, is that even zoophilia? But also, sometimes people are into things sexually because they are taboo, and that is not inherently wrong. Once again, glad I did not have a trajectory through Destiny or Vosh to get here, so I don't have to have thoughts on this. Yeah. It always feels a little weird. I don't know. It's like, I feel like I'm part of this community, even though I've been streaming, or like at least I've been a creator since before I knew about any of these people. I guess I started streaming full time like pretty shortly after I learned who Vosh was. Um, yeah. Being cisgender is cringe. Yeah, nice gender. Did your mom pick it out for you? But yeah, it's like clearly there are some people who come to this community through the sort of streamer pipeline, and now I'm getting more people who are coming here from the Takis area. Like people, I have a way bigger audience that I have access to on Takis. So if I mention like, hey, okay, there's 300 people viewing on a given day. There's 2 people viewing. Or sorry, there's 2 people streaming, but whatever. On a good day, there's like 300 or more viewers on Takis. So if I say, hey, I'm doing my stuff on my channel, go watch my channel, and if only like 10 of those people move over, that's still like, okay, I got 0.5% of those people to subscribe to my channel, and then we're growing in that way. But then yeah, there's all like the lingering audience of people who know me from my commentary on like ContraPoints and stuff, which like y'all have to be, we must have gone through an evolution together. If you are still watching me from back when like I had the surge of attention on the channel because we talked about ContraPoints and we talked about like that type of stuff back in the day, yeah, I feel like those people must have gone through the evolution along with me or they wouldn't still be watching. Look, if I had to not associate with people who had weird kinks, I would have very few friends. True. Okay, I'm just gonna go refill my water really fast. I don't know what my deal is. I'm so thirsty today. So I am going to just refill this and I'll be right back. Can I just tell you how big of a dork I am? No, not Jazz Dog time. I wasn't going to be gone long enough. I'll go, when I do my midstream break, I'll put Jazz Dog on because I'll actually be gone for a few minutes. But anyway, ooh, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. 1 second. I will get back to that in just 1 second. I'm so weird in my 30s. The things that I'm excited to get are like, I just bought a brand new kind of mineral oil that I can use for my cutting boards and other wooden things. And I got wood wax in addition to the... It's like coconut oil, mineral oil, vitamin E, and beeswax in a liquid form. That's like the oil for my wooden cutting boards and things. And then the wood wax is supposed to like go over it and kind of seal it in. And so I'm like, oh my god, yes, finally. My cutting boards will not just like dry out immediately after the next time I use and wash them. Yeah, I'm old. Thank you so much, Carol DeBuris, for the 5 gifted memberships. Those don't get added to our stream goal for a couple of different reasons, but thank you still very much. And I hope that those people who got the membership appreciate it. Unfortuitous Ash, Masso Moose, aka KJB, Aster, and Heart Splinters. There's a couple of different things that make it beneficial for you to have a membership. Like, you get access to polls and posts that are not public. Some of that stuff is also on my Patreon. Sometimes you get to see videos early, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just little things like that. You know what I never do is I never plug my Patreon during the streams. I'm typically trying to drive normal donations. And like those are amazing because I receive them like the same day or the next day or whatever. Like that's, yes, of course. But Patreon, like you actually get more than you get just subscribing on the website. You know, you get access to polls where you can vote on what video I'm going to do next. You get to see like if I make a video that has a bunch of copyright bullshit and I end up having to edit it a lot, you get to see the original version, like my I Saw the TV Glow video, and, you know, little things. Get in the credits of the videos, etc., blah, blah, blah. Patreon.com/Luxander. That makes sense to be excited by. I think we were friends before I started actively watching your content. I love that. I love that the idea that, like, I become friends with people and then they're like, I want to see you more enough that I will go just hang out in your live streams. Like, I don't know. That's fun to me. Hey Lux, it's me, the not actual goth again. Can I ask you, since you talked much about I Saw the TV Glow, have you also watched the Trans Mask Netflix movie Fanfic? No, I have not heard of that one actually. Fanfic 2023 on Netflix. So I don't actually have a Netflix subscription anymore. So it's gonna be kind of hard to watch stuff on Netflix. But cool. Is this supposed to be a similar type of... Oh my god, it's NC-17? Whoa! And it's in Polish. It's not in English. Okay, cool. Quantum Chaos makes a very compelling point. They say, are you here? Did you hit the like button yet? If not, get it together and hit the like button. Exactly. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. It tells YouTube to show this to more people. What I want, truly, is to just have like 200 people in here while we're shooting the shit talking about nothing important. So why do YouTube videos get copyright strikes but Patreon ones don't? Doesn't that mean YouTube doesn't have to do that? So John, the thing is that, like, what happened to my video that got the copyright thing on it was that I am not allowed to make any money off of it. Like the full video with all of the copywritten material, which I'm using in fair use. Like, to be clear, I am not violating copyright law. I am following copyright law by using the content in a commentary. Like, I am observing the symbolism and commenting on it and referencing it. It completely does not substitute the original audience to watch the movie. You know, like, it makes sense best when you have seen the movie. So it doesn't replace the original content, which is the purpose of the copyright law and the fair use exception. So when I post something to Patreon, what that is it is the video on YouTube that is copyright claimed, that says, like, I'm not allowed to make any money off of it. And then I just unlist that video so that it's only available to people who have a direct link. So it's not public, it doesn't get put in the algorithm or anything. It's a video that exists for my patrons that I cannot make any ad revenue off of, period. And maybe even my premium views, like my premium membership views, might also go to the copyright holder of the movie in this situation. So yeah, it's really annoying. But so then I edited it to remove all of what they were claiming under copyright, or to, you know, change it enough that it doesn't catch in the automated review system. And that video is the public video that I can make money off of directly through YouTube ads and stuff like that. Does that make any sense? Yeah, it is about the money. It's like, I can't justify uploading a video that does not have any ad revenue on it. Like, it's not going to be a huge amount of money, but it is going to be enough money for me to be like, it's a huge difference making it versus not making it. So yeah, that's why we all go through this stupid fucking rigmarole with the copyright shit. Lately, I've been getting claims off music I got the license to through YouTube. Sheesh. Make sure, Ember, that you go double check when you put the music on, because sometimes, like, it's required. It's like, oh, this is, you don't have to share revenue on this or anything, but you do have to put the text in the description. So just make sure you're put your anything like that so that it is like, okay, you have a Creative Commons license and you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're required to put information in the description, that kind of thing. Just double check that. I avoid all that by using my own music. Fair, yeah. On my I Saw the TV Glow video, I ended up using like a really long ambient music, and there was hardly any time where I wasn't actively talking, so it ended up, even if it was an issue, it's like, okay, it's underneath my speech and ambient enough that it would be hard to catch it. It's not like TV Glow at all, but have you seen T Blockers? It's a great indie B-movie horror sci-fi from Alice Mayo Mackay, trans director and trans lead. Nope, haven't seen that one either. T Blockers, movie, 2023 horror movie. A young filmmaker and her friends square off against an ancient evil when an earthquake unleashes parasites in a small Australian town. Weird. Fascinating. In a box, thank you for the $30 dono, who says, but what about stream donos and Patreon? True. Y'all are the big boys, like the big kids, everybody who donates on stream and through Patreon. Because then, like, Patreon, I can count on. It's like I get a payout at the same time every month. Unless there is a problem processing someone's payment, it's like I can guarantee it every month. Streams are like, I have to stream or I will not make money, but streaming does not necessarily mean I will make money. You know what I mean? $42 total. We've got $58 to go before I will go pick up the cat and force him to be on camera and be unhappy. But thank you very much, In a Box, for both being a donator during streams and being a patron. YouTube keeps demonetizing me even though I have no monetization on my other channel. I mean, I assume that it's basically just saying like, well, so YouTube does put ads on your content even though you don't have monetization on, and it will make money off of those ads until you join the partner program. So probably it's like all of that ad revenue, or at least like whatever, a lot of it is going to the copyright holder, and you will not get it if you join the partner program. Like, it's probably still catching it in the automated system. Professor of Scissors sounds like a tarot card. Let me just say something. Hold on. I gotta say something real quick. I got this tarot card deck at the Ren Fair, and it's classic tarot. Like, this is it's classic tarot. This deck fucking hates me. She is such a bitch. Every time I give her a little shuffle, I draw 3 cards, and she's like, I hate you. And I'm like, why? I don't understand. She's such a bitch. And I got this deck because I was like, oh, it has the explanations of what it's like. It says on there, oh, if it's in the reverse position, it's like represents these things. So I was like, maybe this will make it easier for me to understand what the cards are supposed to say. Because when I use my Star Spinner deck, this one, it doesn't say what the card means on there. So I'm looking through the book every time, and I feel like that's keeping me from being able to memorize what they mean. So I was like, oh, this one would help me memorize it more. Such a bitch. I do not know why she is like this. Ugh. Gotta purge whatever energy she came to me with. Like, what are you doing? It's haunted by an evil spirit, yeah. To be clear, I don't believe in any of those silly things, by the way. I'm just like, every time I draw cards, it's just something negative. Like, you're holding yourself back and you can't face the harm you've done. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? This is not relevant to me at all. You're just being a bitch for no reason. And of course, I don't actually believe that my deck has a personality and it can be a bitch, but I just think it's fun to joke about. Sounds like YouTubers need to unionize. Well, I think that there was like the guild, the YouTube Creators Guild started by Hank Green. Like Creators Guild of America maybe is now what it is called. I think maybe I just didn't join. I like looked into this fucking 10 years ago, and I think I ended up not joining it probably just because there were fees, like there were dues, and I did not have that kind of money, but also like I don't really know. Oh, hold on. From 2019, the Internet Creators Guild is shutting down. Started out as a personal project from Hank Green and then grew. But I think that was the purpose of that. Is there not a new one? IGN creators have a guild. Creators Guild of America? Like, last video as of 6 months ago. This is the official 501c6 nonprofit organization that protects and promotes the interests of digital creators. So there are, like, I guess that is a union. Yeah, I haven't looked into this in a while. I don't really know what robust protections there are. MatPat started something like a lobbying group. Yeah, but I don't like MatPat, including like a lot of the reasons why I don't like MatPat are because of his business practices. So of course I am not going to want to join something that he started as a business practice. I think he is like kind of a morally bankrupt individual when it comes to the, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I was listening to my husband who was listening to a podcast that MatPat and his wife were on about like what they're doing now, or like I guess it was like, you know, as we're leaving YouTube creator space, here's what we have done to become successful creators. And it was stuff like scraping other people's content and things like that. Like, I can't remember any of the details, and I feel bad because I'm like, I have a very strong aversion to him, but I can't articulate it because I don't know what fucking interview it was to go watch it and be like, why do I hate this guy so much in more detail? But it was basically like that vibe of like popularizing content that other creators had made and just didn't have a very big audience for, or like, you know, you could maybe make an argument like, oh, it was 2 years ago, blah, 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 whatever. But like, instead of bringing on those individuals to make their case on a bigger platform, like, I think it was something along those lines. Isn't that how Nebula happened? What do you mean? Do you mean like the fact that there's all this copyright bullshit and people have just been like posting because they can post the whole thing on Nebula and not worry about spurious copyright claims? That's probably a big part of it. I would genuinely, so the way that you get on Nebula is that someone who is already a a part owner has to recommend you. Like, so if some creator who is already on there can be like, I vouch for this person, they make good content. So there is no way for me to like email Nebula and be like, hey, I would really love to potentially talk about being on your platform. And I'm too small of a creator probably. And I don't know anybody who works at Nebula. So there is no easy way for me to like get onto it, even though I do think that the kind of content that I'm making now would work for it. Which, by the way, speaking of the kind of content that I'm making now, I'm working on this Mulan review, and it's turning into way more of a video essay than I was planning. Like, I had this idea of, oh, I should just kind of do these rants, like where I give myself an outline and then I can riff off of the outline. But then I am now working on this Mulan video, and I'm finding that like the thoughts that I'm having, I'm like, I want to write down this full thought in this full sentence. So it's basically like a script, but I'm completely fine with like changing the wording of my script in order to make sure that my voice sounds authentic as I'm delivering it, because I do think that like my delivery of a script is not as good. It doesn't sound as good as like my natural speech. So yeah, so now I'm basically making like an actual script though for that video. So it's taking a little bit of time. I did write like 635 words to it on Friday. And then there's like, it has like sections, you know? It's truly like shaping up to be a proper video essay where I'm like, here's the first part of the video, which is only going to be a couple minutes long. And then here's the second part of the video. And then, oh, JK, you thought that was it? Guess what? There is a third part to the video, which, like, obviously you're going to click in and see how long the video is. But my point is, like, oh, there's a kind, I guess a kind of narrative structure to it where it's like the rabbit hole goes deeper than you realize. And then, yeah, you can always try to email them. Sure, but I literally just read an interview from the creator saying that he does not respond to emails requesting to be on the platform. Like, and I do think that there are some situations where it is a bad idea, where like you might later on, someone might recommend you and they might be like, oh, well, that person emailed me, and so I feel like that might not be the right person, you know? Devin from Legal Eagle is one of the owners on Nebula. Yeah, totally. Because he reacts to things that are copyrighted, and he also, like, covers news stories that YouTube will censor. And so, yeah, it makes sense for him to be on Legal Eagle. On Nebula from Legal Eagle. Nebula requires invitations and is not a union. Yeah, no. And it isn't a union. It is a worker co-op. Functionally. Like, it's a worker co-op where you have the, you have partial ownership. You have some say in what happens. Like, you get a cut. Like, a certain percentage or whatever. Yeah, so that would be cool. But yeah, so the Mulan video is just taking a little bit longer because I'm like, oh, I actually am feeling the desire to really write it out. And I've gotten in touch with a couple of trans femme creators about the potential of, is there a trans femme read on this character? I need to respond to my friend Chariot, who I asked this question, and she had chunky paragraphs to say, and I love that about her, but I just haven't had the time to like sit there and really read it and be like, okay, let me try to process this information. I think maybe it's that the particular way that she dives deep into the narrative of Mulan as it relates to gender is just not exactly the tone that I want to take for my particular video. They also don't allow you to do exclusive content elsewhere. Angela Collier joined recently, and as part of it, had to put all her Patreon videos on there too. I feel like I don't mind that. Okay, goodbye, Quantum Chaos. I don't mind that, really. In the same way that, like, I don't do this with my YouTube memberships, but I could understand creating a YouTube membership that is mirrored with my Patreon membership. So, like, you basically get the same thing if you subscribe for $3 on YouTube as if you subscribe for $3 on Patreon. I don't do that out of laziness, and also because, like, the pricing structure on YouTube is just different. So instead, I have just one tier on YouTube, and you get some of the stuff that I also put on Patreon, and sometimes you get stuff that's exclusive to YouTube, but it's also, like, not very much on YouTube, comparatively. Like, there's way more different things that I'll put on Patreon. And then if I joined Nebula, I would feel like, okay, it's fair. If someone pays a subscription on either platform, then getting, like, the exclusive content that is on either platform, like, I don't really care that much. I'm not, like... There is stuff that would be like, oh, this is a pricing on my, like, if there was some... If I'm like, oh, like, the amount of money that I get on Patreon is way more because I have this behind a really high paywall, then maybe I would try to negotiate that, but I don't have that right now. My top tiers on there are like, get your name in the credits of the video. And like, if you subscribe on Nebula, I'm for sure not putting your name in the credits of the video. That's not what it's for. Chariot has tons of thoughts about everything. I know. I love her so much. She's so thoughtful. There definitely is a trans femme read. It sort of depends. I personally think that the way the movie is structured, it pretty squarely puts the feminine in a bad place for Mulan throughout the whole movie and the end of the movie. And I'm trying not to spoil too much about my script. But yeah, I do think that I find it difficult to perceive a trans femme take on it. Like, I feel like you're really stretching things at that point. But I might include some of what Chariot said. I'm also talking to another creator who I might actually feature them in the video, so I might not spoil it. I do think it would be one of those things that would be fun to just be like a surprise when the video comes out. The great thing about film analysis is there's lots of different lenses of analysis. True. And like, even looking at the story as a trans story, like, there are multiple different ways to look into it, which is part of what the point of my video is like, you know, you could view this as a video. Here's the 3-part structure. The video is about the movie is about patriarchy, right? Mulan is about patriarchy. And then there's the take of like, Mulan is about a trans man. But then there's another like bigger, more broad statement that the movie is making about gender that is a secret until you watch my video. But that's the 3-part structure of this video. So right now I basically have the first 2 parts written, and now I'm working on like, how do I introduce the idea or transition from the middle idea into the third idea, which I might just skip that transition. I don't know. I'm really bad about writing my final draft in the first draft stage. It's just, it's a bad habit that I have. But again, like, I might as well do that here because I'm still basically just going to treat this like a reference to gesture at and not like a script that I'm holding to. So my read of The Matrix was that it sucked ass. What? How? Does the dragon add to the trans allegory? I don't have anything. Do you mean Mushu the dragon, or do you mean the symbology of the dragon as it relates to Mulan? And like the dragon on the sword and the dragon in their garden? Like, is that what you mean? Or do you mean Mushu the dragon, the character? I know several trans masks for whom Mulan was instrumental in discovering themselves. Let the boys have their movie. Right. It's like, I didn't try to turn I Saw the TV Glow into an allegory about trans masculine people. Right? Like, I let you guys have your moment. Even if you could potentially see Maddie as a trans masculine character. I was like, maybe you could see Maddie as a trans masculine character, but I'm just going to kind of commit to the idea that she just reinforces the narrative of the trans feminine. Because I was like, I don't feel like there's quite enough in the text for me to definitively say that Maddie is a trans masculine allegory. Mushu adds to the merchandising opportunities. That's true. Okay, so Matrix promised me it was important and had ideas and then didn't explore them, and the action was so cheeks I was shocked. All right, fair, you know. I haven't watched Matrix in a while, so maybe I'm blinded. Not Mushu. Okay, so you're just saying, like, does the symbology of the dragon add to the trans allegory? It's not something that I would consider, like, essential. It's one of those, like, oh, we could stretch and dive into that a little bit, but we're already, like, my script is already, like, 1,300 words long, and I am not sure how much longer it's going to take to make the rest of my point. So, it's like there are other forms of symbolism that are much more obvious. And it's like, is the dragon symbol tied to masculinity inherently? Like, not really. In fact, one of the points that I want to bring up is that Mushu constantly transgresses gender expectations by having a motherly role. So if anything, like, the most prominent dragon in the film is feminine, like is a gender non-conforming creature. I'm not sure how to square the circle of Mulan as trans femme, even as a certified trans femme. Someone on Blue Sky, who, God bless, I haven't like responded to this person. I feel a little bit bad, but she was like, "Ooh, I'll contribute to your video," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know who you are, and you also don't have any links on your Blue Sky to like any work that you've done." So it's also not possible for me to find out what kind of content creator you are, if you are one. But she said, "Oh, I've been saying for a while, if a character disguises themselves as a boy for safety and convenience and then later discovers the true value of womanhood, then that's a trans femme story." So here's my problem with that. Mulan doesn't return to womanhood by discovering the true value of womanhood. She is non-consensually kicked out of the masculine role that she's found comfort in. And she clearly is upset and ashamed when she returns to womanhood. And like, I do not see the ending of Mulan in any form or fashion as being like a comfortable return to femininity or womanhood. So that's a little spoiler for you. A little spoiler for my video. Later, Blue Phoenix. Trying to think if dragons in Chinese culture is particularly masculine. Chinese culture has some of its own stuff going on with masculinity and femininity. In Chinese culture, the dragon is related to wisdom. Like, it means like wisdom and good luck, which are not inherently masculine features. Like, I don't think that dragons are inherently masculine, except that maybe like the concept of being wise is only within the provenance of the male gender. Like, I don't think so. Excuse me, but I don't know for sure. I love tea. Tea is also a wonderful vessel for honey. So if you're like a person who likes honey, hell yeah, tea is the best for you. Fucking Vosh. I can't believe you're streaming at the same time as me. I'll stab you. Not really. Bro, I've been watching a bunch of slow-mo videos recently. Like the slow-mo guys. I don't know why. Yeah, you can post links in my website chat. It blocks them in the YouTube chat, but you can post them in a website chat. Do you have pets? Yes, Rishi. I do have pets. Welcome to the chat. I have one cat. His name is Mitternacht. Or Mr. Baby is probably what he thinks his name is. I don't have any other pets at the moment. We have been talking for a bit about getting another cat. I don't know right now. I'm kind of feeling more along the lines of like I would rather not get another cat. Or at least maybe let's wait until next year when it's kitten season again. I don't know. I was really gung-ho about it for a while, but now I'm just not into it. The idea of a kitten, it just seems like it would be a lot of work. And like my house already feels like it's kind of full. I have been thinking maybe of getting like a millipede. I guess technically speaking, I do have a small terrarium that has a bunch of springtails in it. So if you want to say that I have a pet culture of springtails, that is technically accurate. Yeah. My husband has been talking about wanting an aquarium or something like that. I am more keen on the idea of having an aquascape that is not an aquarium or shit, like maybe like shrimp or something that will have a very small amount of ammonia output. I don't really want to have to do water changes on an aquarium. It's too much work. I want something that's just going to sit there and mostly take care of itself. Or maybe I have to, if it's a terrarium, maybe I water it like once a week, or like I'll drop food scraps in there when I had isopods. But yeah, I like the idea of an aquascape that's just a bunch of beautiful plants. I don't want to have to fucking do water exchanges. It sounds like a nightmare. Is it a boy or a girl? I mean, for what it's worth, he's a big fat boy. I've only really had boy cats for most of my life. Other people here also liking the slow-mo guys. Yeah. So I like how many of their videos are just Schadenfreude. It's just you get to see Dan getting smacked in the face with something. I also really like the videos where Dan is like, I'm an expert on guns and explosions. Let me explain some math to you. And I'm like, totally. Okay. Chinese dragons were considered to be physically concise. Of the 117 scales, 81 are of the yang essence positive, while 36 are of the yin essence negative, yang equaling masculine and yin equaling feminine. The dragon god is the dispenser of rain, as well as the zoomorphic representation of yang, which is the masculine power of generation. Feng Huang is known in Japanese as Ho'o, are phoenix-like birds found in East Asian mythology that reign over all other birds. In Chinese symbolism, it's a feminine entity which is paired with the masculine Chinese dragon as a visual metaphor of a balanced and blissful relationship, symbolic of both a happy marriage and a regent's long reign. So in long story short, dragons are linked to masculinity in Chinese culture. Okay, cool. Oh, Rishi, are you going to be a huge asshole right now? Asking, how do you know he's a boy? Well, like, technically speaking, my cat is not a boy because boy is a human gender. My cat is male because he was born with a penis and testicles. At least as far as I know, he doesn't have any internal female genitalia that would make him an intersex cat. So he's male, and I call him a big fat boy because I like to do that. He doesn't have a gender, though. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't care what pronouns I use to talk about him. You know, I impose that on him. And he's fixed, so he's not even really male anymore. Like, he doesn't have testicles anymore, so he's not even really male at this point. Don't be a jerk. Wrong, Lux. You are misgendering your cat because all dogs are boys and all cats are girls. True. Yeah, oops. I made a mistake. My pretty little girl cat. My beautiful, majestic, graceful lady. My big fat lady. Who screams. She goes, ah! That is what Mitternacht sounds like. Isn't there technically no such thing as biologically male and female? I mean, they are categories that we use that are useful in some contexts. Like, sometimes it is useful. Like, if we're talking about, like, saving a species from the brink of extinction, then sure, biologically male and female are very pertinent, relevant factors. If we need to make sure, like, okay, one male can inseminate 3 females in 1 year. Like, okay, if this is a threatened species, then we need that one male to breed with 3 females every single year to try to bring the population back. I'm just making up numbers. I have no idea what animal that would be that only mates 3 times a year. I have no idea. Yeah, so of course, in some situations, it's relevant. Even in humans, like, whether you have a dominant testosterone or estrogen endocrine system can matter with other kinds of medical interactions, but other factors like your weight are going to matter more for, like, dosing medication and things. It's like, but it's not like an irrelevant factor. It just also isn't a rigid category. Like, many people try to treat it that way. Mephi says, my mom's friend once got a kitten, named it Luna, called her Luna through her whole whole kittenhood, called her a sweet girl and princess and all that. At some point takes her to the vet and finds out that Luna is actually male. So my mom's friend does a total 180. She cannot help herself. She renames the cat Buddy, calls it a good boy, handsome cat, king, etc. And the cat continued to give 0 fucks. Gender is a human thing. True, exactly. Cat does not care. Cat does not speak English. I had a male cat named Lucy. Like, his name technically was Lucifer, but he was Lucy. He was my beautiful little Lucy boy. Like, he doesn't fucking care that he had a girl name. Like, there's no context in which that name is a boy name. I guess except in, oh, what is that TV show called? Disenchantment? It's like a little Matt Groening show on Netflix, where there was a character named Lucy who was a demon character. A male demon, I guess, but yeah. We gender the cats according to our whims. We do not know their thoughts on the matter. Right. I had a friend who had a girl cat named Lucy until they took her to get spayed and the vet was like, yeah, no, Lucifer is a boy. And the new name stuck. Sure, I mean, yeah, whatever. I just like, his name was Lucifer and I called him Lucy and it was, that was it. He was my Lucy boy. I just got like some pictures in my Google Photos. Like, you know, when Google Photos gives you a little thing that's like 5 years ago, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. Pictures of my Lucy boy. My friends just got 2 kittens, named them Hank and Peggy. Turns out Hank is also a girl, so now they're Peggy and Ladybird. Why are people so fragile? Why are people so fragile? Do you not think that's the funniest shit ever to have a female cat who's named Hank? On the TV show Lucifer, Lucy is his common nickname. Okay, interesting. I think it would be hilarious. I have to have a female cat named like Hank or Frank. That would be hilarious. What is wrong with people? Why are y'all so boring? We had a male turtle growing up named Kimberly. We never changed his name after finding out he was male. But despite that, my family doesn't accept my transness. Fucking right? Yeah. I would have kept Hank, but a cat called Ladybird is also cute. I don't know. Within context, I can't see it as anything other than cowardice. The the homesteading channel I watch, the guy names a bunch of his ducks and geese, and there is a female duck named Ron Swanson. He does not care. I love it when those homestead channels, like, they get a new animal and then they let the community vote on the name, because you end up with situations like that where it's like you get a new chicken and it's a female chicken and they're like, name him fucking Rooster Cockman. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff when you let people vote on... Oh, and there's other funny stuff too, like when you let people vote on naming the snow plows in the city. It's so dumb. Like, I love it. How stupid people are. It's great. Down the road, we had a neighbor cat. The neighbor had a cat called Bella. Later found out that that cat was a fella and lived the rest of his days as Bella the fella. That's okay. See that again. That's cute. See? Oh my god, I just looked and we have almost 80 likes. When did that happen? Almost 80 likes. I'm glad that Bodie McBoatface ended up being the name of one of the escape boats on that one ship. Yeah. Oh, okay, hold on. Kitty is... We're changing subjects a little bit. There was a recent study published that finally proved that there is a max calorie burn daily, and your body will just slow down other processes when you exercise. It is still good for you to exercise, but diet is most of weight loss, as it turns out. We need to eat more real food with less processes behind it. Kind of like how honey is lower on the glycemic index because it was already digested once. We don't burn enough energy eating processed food. Ooh, yeah, totally. I became familiar with that study through the Kurzgesagt video. I know that people have issues with Kurzgesagt and like they've had to make retractions and stuff in the past. I get it. But yes, I became familiar with that. There was a study of a particular Oh, well, it was looking at different people groups. I think this all sort of started examining a group of people who still in the modern day are primarily a hunter-gatherer society. So they're like burning a bunch of calories because they're on the move all day. Like they hunt, they go, 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 go. So you would think, oh my gosh, like, do they have a harder time getting to their basic caloric intake? Do they have a harder time, like, do they need to eat more in order to compensate or whatever? And it turns out that their metabolisms just change to accommodate that. Like their metabolism just changes so that they can basically burn a lot of energy all day, but not actually burn more caloric energy. And conversely, if you look at places where there is a higher caloric intake, like in America, let's say it's just easier to get a higher caloric intake because of all the processed food, all the high fructose corn syrup additives and everything, like the fact that you go to a restaurant and of course the restaurant doesn't give a shit if you have a heart problem or whatever. They just load things with butter and salt to make them taste good. So you have all these extra calories from butter and oil and saturated fats and stuff. So in that situation, you also have like a base level that you burn every day. And if you have a low activity amount, your body will try to burn calories of the same amount every day. Like that's basically your body is designed, for lack of a better word, to burn a certain amount of calories every day. So if you consume a lot of food and you're sedentary, in order to burn the amount of calories that you would normally just burn in a day, your body will do other things like give you a bunch of inflammation across your whole body. So even if you're only like, you're not moving at all, so you are only technically supposed to be burning like a basic level of calories, the amount that it takes to make your brain and your organs work, your body will actually do other bullshit like inflammation, which is bad for you at a systemic level, in order to burn like about 2,000 calories. And then, of course, any excess beyond that you consume, your body is going to turn that into fat for long-term storage. So it's really interesting that, yeah, exercise is only a small part of it. So if you build muscle, that changes your metabolic rate. So in the sense that exercising can cause you to build muscle, you will burn more calories the more muscle you have. That's just part of it. Yeah, so it's really interesting and difficult to, you like think, oh, exercise is going to make a difference. It does at first. Like if you start exercising for the first few weeks, your body will burn more calories, but then you will adjust to that level of activity and you will level out again and go back to burning the same normal amount of calories. Your body will just stop doing as much inflammation and bullshit. Do you reckon that might be how our brains got big, as a kind of heat sink for calories, since brains eat a lot of power? I don't know if I would lend a lot of credibility to that. I mean, I suspect that the reason our brains got big was because, like we're trying to outsmart each other. We're trying to outsmart our environment. And it seems like complex social interactions are a thing that's a result of like a big brain, or like maybe a big brain was developed because of our social interactions. So I just feel like there are a lot of evolutionary pressures that's probably not related to like burning calories specifically. I mean, the reason why we are the last humanoid species is because we burn fewer calories than other species like Neanderthals and Homo erectus. Like those species, they just ran hotter, like their bodies produced more heat. They were less calorie efficient. Whereas like we burn fewer calories just on a general basis for the rest of our bodies. So I guess maybe you could say that like because our bodies burn fewer calories and like we don't exude as much heat, that could leave a greater amount of energy to go to our brains. But I do think it was more like evolutionary pressures of like how to outsmart our environment, because humans are not that resilient on a base level. So we've had to use tools to our advantage to make our environment more suited to our presence. I don't know. Anthroarchaeology is really interesting. Do you watch Doctor Who? Not anymore. I watched Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, and then I watched the first season of Capaldi, and at that point I was like, oh, I'm done watching this show. Although I did recently consume a bunch of Verily Bitchy videos, and that includes some of her videos about Doctor Who. So I do know more than I knew before about it. I did 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, 136 floors, 2,183 steps, burned 300 calories. That's 2 Dr. Peppers. I mean, but the thing is that, like, we don't actually know that you burned any calories. That's the thing, is like these machines will say and they'll guess, oh, you burned that many calories. But it's like we're finding out through the research recently that that is not true. That you do not burn calories when you are doing cardio. Like, it's good for you because it makes your heart stronger. It's good for you to do that within limits. If you do too much exercise or too much cardio, you will spike your cortisol in a way that increases your body's stress, that can worsen all those things like inflammation going on in your body systems. But there is evidence basically now that for the first 3 weeks of doing the Stairmaster, you're burning 200 or 300 calories, but then you stop burning the calories because your body gets used to the level of activity. I watched the first few episodes of the Chibnall era, decided it wasn't for me, and tapped out. I watched the Tenant Return specials, but that's it. Which one was the Chibnall era? Is that a writer? Series 11 to 13 with Jodie Whittaker. Okay. Yeah, I watched the first season of Capaldi, and I was like, I fucking hate this show. And then I didn't watch any Jodie Whittaker. And then I know Ncuti Gatwa. Dude, we just watched... Okay, Barbie was the 4th movie that I couldn't remember that we watched yesterday. We watched Barbie yesterday, and Ncuti Gatwa, who is the Black Doctor, is one of the Kens in Barbie. And I was like, oh my god, it's him. Like, that like, face is so unmistakable. Do you want to take part in my average fave doctor survey? I promise it will make good content and be funny. Possibly, I guess. Maybe. I mean, who's my favorite doctor? It's David Tennant. I weigh 215 pounds at 5'11". BMI says I count as obese. I challenge anyone to look at my bod and tell me I'm obese. Yeah, this is part of why I try not to beat myself up too much about my weight, because I know that I'm on a base level, like, probably more muscular than a lot of people. So I know I weigh more because I have muscle underneath my fluff. Okay, yeah, Chris Chibnall was the showrunner during Jodie Whittaker's run. Verily Bitchy's video about, like, is Doctor Who trans now was a great video. And I like that she kind of talks about how Jodie Whittaker's doctor isn't a woman. Like, Jodie Whittaker constantly is, like, referring to herself as a man and being like, oh, I forget. So, like, it's not a character who's gone through a gender transition. It's just a character who is a man who is temporarily in a woman's body. So it wasn't a gender transition. I guess you could say that being a man in a woman's body makes the character trans, but it's like, she just goes back to being a man at the end of it. Oh my god, water is so good for you. Hail, hydrate. Katie says there's a latest study. It's basically the same study done again at larger scale with more funding. It was spawned by the one they made in that video, about several 100,000 people studied. Pretty irrefutable at this point. Right, because we're looking at, like, back to the, like, calorie intake thing. We're now looking at, yeah, all these different groups. And, like, I don't know how they measure like how much actual caloric energy you burn on in a daily. I don't know how they test that exactly, but they are able to tell. And like, yeah, on average, humans have like a particular amount of calories that their bodies burn. So yeah, it is mostly about diet, and it is going to be the little things that fuck you if you're trying to lose fat. Like if you're trying to lose weight at all. Like first of all, if you don't dramatically jack up your protein intake when you're trying to lose weight, you will lose more muscle than you lose fat. And which means you'll lose more weight more quickly, I guess, but you know, like losing muscle is not great. And then additionally, it's the small things that'll fuck you, like, oh, did you cook that chicken breast in olive oil? Well, did you measure the olive oil when you poured it in there? It's the little things like that that really get you. And you know, if you're trying to be on like a slight deficit, it'll put you at maintenance like really easily. So but it is almost entirely dietary in order to lose weight. And even then, if you cut calories too dramatically, your body will adjust to that and try to protect you from losing weight. So your metabolism will just shift down, and you'll just feel tired all the time, effectively. So you also have to be really conservative with a calorie deficit if you want to actually have successful results. So basically, it's a fucking nightmare. Kitty says someone who weighs more will naturally burn more calories. When adjusted for weight, everyone burns the same amount within a fairly small amount. Totally, yeah. Does this mean that the doctor is a trans man now? If a cis woman got magicked into a male body for a while, I would welcome her as one of the dolls. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I guess, like, yeah, being like, I identify as a man, but I'm in a female body, like, I guess that sort of makes him a trans man while he's Jodie Whittaker. What was his gender assigned at birth? Is each regeneration a new birth? That's a great question. Can confirm trying to reduce my weight ended up costing my gallbladder. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know what it is that makes people's gallbladders need to be taken out, but I do hope that it doesn't happen to me. Maybe that's something I need to learn about. How do I make sure I don't lose my gallbladder? John says water weight is also a factor. You lose more weight from sweat when exercising than from just burning the fat itself. Yeah, okay, yeah. But that's the thing, is like, yeah, you don't lose fat by exercising. Like, it does not impact your fat by, like, to exercise. You will build muscle by exercising, but that is pretty much it. So you will pretty much only gain weight from exercise. Unless you are trying to also run a calorie deficit, in which case you will probably just exhaust yourself and not make any progress. The doctor's species doesn't really have much sense of gender. They switch pretty much as they would like to. I don't even know if it's as they like to. It feels like the regeneration mostly just happens without their ability to change it. Like the doctor, he's like, I want to be ginger, but he's never been ginger, right? You know what I mean? He brings it up regularly. So clearly they don't really have much of a choice about how they regenerate. But also, like, I don't know, man. It's a fictional thing, and if you go back and look at the originals, like some of the older ones, the Time Lords, when there are multiple Time Lords, they're all men. Like, I think it was pretty recent that the idea of a woman Time Lord even, like, obviously we had the woman doctor in that one, like, goofy, non-canon thing. But, like, the entire idea of a woman Time Lord wasn't really seriously broached, I think, until the Corsair. Like, that there's an episode of Matt Smith's run where he mentions another Time Lord named the Corsair, and he's like, ooh, yeah, he was great, except that one time she was a bad girl, ooh, like, you know. But for the most part, like, female Time Lords have not been mentioned or shown until extremely recently. There were women Time Lords on TV in the 80s. Yeah, it's just, okay, so fair enough. I guess the point from Verily's video was, like, it's a minority. And the further you go back, the more of a boys' club it is. And that the show itself is predicated on the sexist assumptions. Like the Time Lord is usually a man who is in a position of power and authority and needs a little female sidekick that he has to save, and who is the asking questions character. Like the exposition, like the reason for the exposition is this dumb character who doesn't know what's going on. That was a Neil Gaiman episode, and now I have the sad. Ooh, yeah, that sucks. I guess I'd never clocked that Neil Gaiman had written episodes of Doctor Who, but man, that was a good episode too. It sucks. Some Time Lords have demonstrated an ability to direct their transformation. The Doctor's just not very good at it. Okay, fair. Yeah, Doctor Who is a show owned by the BBC. Any transgender reading of the character is entirely unintentional. Well, okay, that's not entirely true, because in official BBC correspondence, like in like official BBC articles and stuff, and again, Verily Bitchy video for this, they refer to the Doctor as they now. So like kind of like they're acknowledging at least some level of gender fluidity. But it's silly and is not accurate to how the character is represented to say that. Because again, Jodie Whittaker Doctor is constantly like, come to daddy and shit like that, and doesn't fucking remember that she's a woman, and so clearly doesn't identify with being a woman. So it's like, I don't even know if you can say that the character is gender fluid unless you're a biological essentialist who says like your gender is determined by your biological sex, in which case, yeah, sure. The Doctor is gender fluid in the sense that like, yeah, if your biological sex completely determines your gender, then yes. But in actuality, the character is male. The character identifies as a man in all situations. BBC News and BBC TV are different companies in a lot of ways. Sure, yeah. Objection, the Rani and Romana are two major woman Time Lords in the classic era. Okay, I'm gonna be clear with you. I have not watched any classic Who, so this is just like, I watched a ton of Verily Bitchy videos over the course of a day or two, and I'm like, this is the fragments that I can remember. So I recognize that there are some, but the further back you go, the more explicitly sexist the show is, and like, the idea of Time Lords as a group is like, it's transgressive and happens like 20 years after the creation of the show. Kitty also points out that Doctor Who was intended to be an education show for kids, which is why the first 2 seasons are so weird, and then later turned into a sci-fi show for adults during season 3 classic. She Who Knows No Name says, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor forgetting for a while at the beginning would have been cute, but it happens throughout. There was also at least one female Doctor inserted into canon retroactively. Was there actually? Or are you just talking about the satire one? Yeah, Doctor Who started in the 60s. So if there was a female Time Lord in the 80s, like, the point remains, or like mid-70s, 80s, like, the point remains that the show was very sexist to begin with, and there was no such thing as a female Time Lord until 15 or 20 years after the show started. The Fugitive Doctor? Okay, I don't know what we're talking about, maybe. Canon in a long-form ongoing series is always a crapshoot. You know, I was actually watching a video, I think it was about The Last Jedi, or it was about Star Wars in general, and the person was saying, like, they don't really care very much about the idea of canon in Star Wars. Like, that it doesn't really matter as long as the movie is good, whether it holds true to every single thing of canon. Like, okay, maybe something happened in one of the comics that they make that are modern, and so they've came out since Disney took control of the property, so hypothetically they are canon comics, but sometimes details in the movies will not correspond to those details in the comics, and it's because, like, canon is loosey-goosey, and I think that that's okay. Also silly to hold true to canon in a time travel show where shit is constantly in flux. Yeah, like, maybe that thing did happen But something since then has erased that reality, and so, like, just be chill. Okay, I won't open this can of worms. The Doctor is alien. Do we even know that Gallifreyans have any gender? Or is it just humans' perceptions of them? Or is it that it's translated to English from Gallifreyan? Great question. That is an interesting concept. Like, yeah, it seems like what we know about Gallifreyans is that you could say that they are fundamentally agender, like they don't have gender. I think that is probably the most reasonable interpretation, that they just don't have a strong connection to gender because they can change sex so easily, like, and so completely, right? They don't, like, it's not a superficial change to any stretch of the imagination. Like, they fundamentally change sex. So I don't know, man. Russell T Davies, one of the creators of the show, asked the fans once to remember, it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Things are not always going to make perfect sense, and that's okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, guys, I'm going to take my little midstream break. I'll put some music on for you, and I'm just going to step away for a few. And I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to make sure I have plenty of water and everything. If you need a snack, get yourself a snack, okay? We'll be back in about 5 minutes, typically about 5 minutes. Let me get some music going. Okay, let's do these, and see you in a few. Okay, now I'm back from my break and I have new water. I have urinated, so now we're in good spirits for the next hour and a half of stream, or however long it's gonna be. Yeah, I'm on time. Yo, that's an awesome top in the thumbnail. Thank you. Honestly, this is just the top is just a shirt that I've had since I was a teenager, and this is like a harness thing that I'm wearing underneath. It's like, and by harness, I mean this one is shitty elastic. But anyway, what's up, Banana? Hello. All right, I'm off Doctor Who now. I'm done talking about Doctor Who. I don't give a shit about that show. I haven't watched it in like over a decade. Well, like when Capaldi first season Doctor Who started in 2014. Okay, so I haven't seen Doctor Who since 2014. Maybe I've like watched it earlier seasons since then. Like, oh, I'll go back and watch some of the Matt Smith stuff. But yeah, I haven't watched anything new since 2015. It's officially been 10 years. I do not care about that show. Yes. Yeah. Congrats, you guys, making it in. Oh my god, it's 6 a.m. Where are you? Where are you if it's 6 a.m.? Like, are you in, like, Australia or Japan, maybe? Somewhere in that range? Doctor Who? Yeah, exactly. 2014? I'm old. Right? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We're definitely reaching that point in our lives where I'm like, dude, I'm about to hit my 16-year anniversary with my partner. You know? Like, 16 years total. We'll be 13 years married. But yeah, I'm about to hit 16 years with my partner. I'm so fucking old. Oh my god, stop. Australia, okay. One time my friend was dating someone long-term and he said, oh, it's easy to remember what time it is in Australia because it's 7 hours ago tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So tomorrow, so it's Monday for you right now. It's 6 a.m. on Monday. Cool. Of course, we were in the central time zone when he said that, so the time difference might be different now. But also, do you guys have more than one time zone in Australia? I have no idea. It's not a small country, I must assume. Maybe you have more than one. I turn 28 tomorrow, which is basically 30, which is basically dead. Get over it. Your 30s are going to be so much better than your 20s. I didn't believe people who said that, and it's so true. I'm 45. Oh, man. 45 is still good. I feel like you're still in a good zone. I'm sure I'm gonna feel that way the older I get, though. Like, the more old I get, the more I'm gonna be like, this is the perfect time for me. 3 time zones in Australia? Sounds about right. I mean, I don't fucking know. Maybe. "36, love my 30s. Hell yeah. I was saying something about how I was like, how old is my mom right now? And I was like, oh, she must be this age because she was this age when I was born, and I'm 31. And my partner was like, what? And he was like, oh, you're 31. I keep forgetting. Like, you're 31. I'm 35. I'm like, yeah, bud. I know. I'm gonna trust you on that, but when my knees go, I'm cursing your name. The thing is that everything else about your 30s is so much better that you can tolerate it when your knees start to hurt. Although, to be fair, my knees don't really hurt yet. I don't really have a lot of knee pain, to be completely honest. Like, of all the different pains I have all over my body, my knees are pretty fine. I believe it, but my 20s are a low bar to clear. Yeah, you're trying to figure your shit out still in your 20s. And, like, if you're anything like me, you will change a lot around ages 29 to 31. Like, I'm constantly like, oh my god, I didn't expect this thing about me to change. But here we are. And then you're just like, I'm cool with this. It's better. I only like my 30s more because I transitioned in my late 20s 4 years ago, and I've never had to pretend to be a man in this decade. That is a good reason to like your 30s. Is a good reason. Yep, yep, yep. I'm 58 and on the downhill side of life. I feel like you can still make your 50s good. Like, your 50s are still good. My mother-in-law is in her 50s, and she's like, I still go to yoga and do things. Look at that. Yeah, Jules says I'm 55 and I started doing triathlon at age 48. See? It's never too late to have this decade be the prime of your life, you know? Every decade can be the prime of your life if you just, like, love yourself enough, you know? In a Box says, I'm in my late 30s. My physical health is the best it's ever been. My back hurts sometimes when going downstairs, though. I don't know why it does that. You probably need to work on stretching your hips. I know that sounds crazy, but, like, if you're going downstairs and your back hurts, I think, yeah, you need to stretch your hips out. Try it anyway. Significant health issues in my 50s. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, barring any disabilities and stuff. Like, I'm disabled too. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. like that I still have the opportunity to do things that I haven't been able to do before. Maybe that's Delulu. Maybe it's a little Delulu of me. My friend's grandma just turned 90 and still runs and swims. Yeah. There was this old dude back in my old community that my husband and I both were like, oh, I know that guy. He's like, he's always running or on a bicycle or something. He's like a super old dude who's like determined to live forever. I respect it so much. Oh my gosh, when is it right now? Okay, we're getting close to the end of July. What's going on in the near future? Is there anything going on that we can look forward to in the near future? Like, I'm gonna be on Takis this week, but I'm gonna stream on Wednesday before that. I have no idea when the Mulan video is coming out because I still need to finish writing it, and then I have to record it and edit it, so it's probably maybe not even gonna come out until August. I don't know. I'm not gonna make any definitive statements about when my next video is gonna come out. I'm just gonna let that process be as slow as it needs to be. We're recording the podcast tomorrow, and starting sometime in August, you guys are gonna start seeing episodes of our season 2 Andor review. I'm looking forward to the heat death of the universe. Well, you know, I can't fault you for that, I guess. My city's Pride is in August. Nice. I saw Portland Pride was like this past weekend. They do it in July instead of in June because there's just so many other events in June. So, yeah. I didn't go, of course. I don't do Pride, especially not when it's fucking 90 degrees out. It's just not gonna happen. Haha, look forward to the future. You're a funny guy. Listen. You have to give yourself things to look forward to in your life. You know, like I'm like, ooh, yeah, next weekend, or I'll ask my partner sometime midweek. I'm like, hey, do you want to hang out on Saturday? Like, do you want to watch some movies and like hang out in the living room? And he'll be like, oh yeah, what movies do you want to watch? And I'm like, well, you know, what about this? Or like, you know, we've got some things on the list. We could watch any of these, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, let's hang out. And then he'll be like, do you want to go bowling? And I'm like, yeah, let's go bowling. And so even just those small things, and even if I'm just doing it for myself, you know, I'm like, oh, I look forward to Takis. Like, those are things that are part of my workday, but they're also events that I'm like, yeah, I get to do this. I get to talk to this person. It's September here in Boise. I think Salem Pride is in September as well. Like the capital of Oregon Pride is in September. I don't know why they do it so late. I'm not really sure. I'm hoping the state will finish its investigation soon and I can actually start using my trauma as an activist platform to bring attention to how poorly/dangerously we as trans folk are treated under emergency medical care. Oh, wait, did you sue? Did you sue the state over, like, how they treated you in an emergency situation? Maybe you told me this before and I just have forgotten it. Born too late to experience the Cambrian. It's the Cambrian explosion. I'm disabled too and stuck home a lot. Finding little things to look forward to is important. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited, guys. Oh man, I may have even already told you about this, but it's like it's something I'm more and more excited about the longer it is in my life. Like I have my car back. Like I was letting my partner use my car. He sold his truck before we moved. There was no practical way for us to move two vehicles across the country along with our giant moving van, and his vehicle was old and starting to get rusty anyway, so he sold it. Um and so he was using my car, and he was like, I want to wait until I've been at my job for the probationary period, and then so I know for sure that I'm not going to be able to be let go during the probationary period, and I can commit to this like whole having a car payment thing. He finally got a new vehicle. I helped him get the vehicle, and he has his own car now, so he can drive himself to work, and I have my car back, and it's so fucking good for so many reasons. Like, I prefer to do things in the morning most of the time. I prefer to do things in the morning. So when he gets home from work, I'm not going to fucking go do things. Like, first of all, it's rush hour. So I'm not going to, I generally like try not to go anywhere in the like rush hour times of day. Like I like to do my things in the morning, usually a little bit after rush hour. It's just easier for me. So now I'm like, I literally have a reason to get out of bed because I have my car, and I can go wherever I want during the week. And I can put my grocery day as whatever day of the week I want, instead of, oh, it has to be on one of the days where I have my car, like, which means that it has to be Saturday because I work on Sundays. I'm like going to the garden. I started working on my garden plot again. It's looking really scraggly, but I knew that it was going to. I didn't remove anything from last year, so there's a bunch of volunteers from last year, but I went ahead and like I raked it some, I cleaned it up a little bit, and I brought some cardboard to kind of fix the pathway around it to kind of clarify where the plot is a little bit more clearly. And once the cardboard has been there for like a week, there's a bunch of mulch, so I'm going to move some mulch over there, and again I'm going to clarify the paths and like gradually try to clean up the plot itself. I'm so enthused to get to work on that. And you know, there's a big rosemary bush on my plot that I'm going to try to clean up around that and make sure, and like maybe harvest some rosemary or give it as a gift. I might give a rosemary sprig as a gift to my mechanic because she's a weird little witchy person, and I feel like she would appreciate it, and I want to have a good relationship with her. So I might do that because she'll appreciate it in that way, where it's like, oh, rosemary, it symbolizes, first of all, it symbolizes like memory and you know, connection through remembrance and stuff like that. But also, if you hang a sprig of rosemary in the kitchen, it is representative of the feminine dominance in the home, apparently, which I feel like a female mechanic would appreciate. So I've got that. I think that there's some waxy red potatoes in my plot. Like when I was like trying to dig up some of the weeds, and in the process of doing that earlier in the spring, I found out that I had some potatoes in the ground. And so a couple of those, I like chopped them in half and I buried them again. So I'm starting to get little potato plants sprouting. There's an entire part of my garden that I'm like, I think that this is entirely wildflowers and weeds. I really want to clean up the entire, like the back edge of my garden plot is also like up against some trees, and it's not very well maintained behind that. I don't think we really have any volunteers who are volunteering to maintain the garden as a whole, because it's all overgrown in a lot of different places. Like people are clearly coming in and attending to their individual plots, but a lot of the surrounding area is kind of overgrown. So I'm thinking about getting back in there and just trying to like, because I think part of the reason my garden plot is suffering is because it's right next to this area where it's not maintained at all, next to these trees, and then that can creep in. So I want to put in like maybe another pathway behind it to just create a little bit of space and distance so that it's not subject to that kind of like the wildness is creeping into what is supposed to be a maintained garden plot. But yeah, now I can go and do it in the morning before it gets hot, and I don't have to walk 30 minutes there and then work in the garden and then walk 30 minutes back, which is way too much for me in one go right now. Yeah, man. Ugh, it just feels good to get outside and do stuff. Shakespeare is suing a whole medical center. Oh, I'm probably not gonna like check it out. It's not really what I'm doing right now. I'm just interested in you, like personally, the fact that you're doing a lawsuit. So it's a human rights abuse claim, a step up from a discrimination suit. Oh, damn, that's crazy. Born too soon to fight in the Middle East, born too late to fight in the Middle East, born just in time to fight in the Middle East. Fuck. Oh no, that's too true. Oh goodness. Oh no, I just got really hungry. No! I hate it when it just suddenly hits and you're like, oh man, I'm hungry. I also have to, I regret to inform everybody, I was looking for the cat earlier to be like, oh, I will know where the cat is if we get to $100 in donations today. But I think that some naughty, naughty, naughty person has closed the door to their room with the cat in there because he is nowhere in any of the mutual space areas. And like my partner's office door is shut and my younger sibling's door is shut and there's no like there's no cat. I'm just like, yeah. Someone's being naughty. So if we get to the $100 goal, which we might not, I'm honestly like, I don't know, we might cut off at 2:00. We'll see. But it's like, I guess I'll have to just give you disappointing biceps because I haven't been working out at all. Hunger, food. My wife got some mole from concentrate at the supermercado nearby and left that simmering in broth with chicken for tonight. Ooh, you know what? I've never had mole. I kind of want to, though. I don't know what is a situation where I could have mole without making it myself. Like, I guess you could just get some mole from concentrate at, like, I'm pretty sure I've driven past a Mexican supermarket. So I'm sure that there's probably some place where I could buy it. But I have no idea if I'll like it at all, is the thing. And it's like a chocolate-based sauce, but it's a like a savory chocolate-based sauce. I would donate, but I'm currently unemployed and living in a shelter. Please don't worry about it. Like, if you guys are housing insecure or like if you're on a fixed income or whatever, please don't worry about it. I am not hurting for money right this moment. I appreciate it and it helps a lot, especially if I'm going to be doing more projects that take longer and there's like more time in between. I don't really want every movie review to turn into a video essay that takes me 3 weeks to make. I don't want that. Like, I very much want to continue being able to I'm going to riff on this movie and not write a whole essay. It's just that Mulan requires more work. I guess I could just like stop where it is now. I could totally do that and be like, yeah, on its face, Mulan is a story about a feminist who doesn't like the patriarchy, but actually she's a trans man. And here, let me tell you all about why she's a trans man. But I feel like that would be an incomplete video. So yes, I'm going to make a video that has a third thing in it and like has more of a point to deliver because that's what I saw when I watched the movie. What I saw was this has more going on than just that, what is frankly turning out to be a relatively surface level analysis of the show or of the movie. But I really, really, really would like to be able to make them faster so that I'm not like as dependent on streaming and everything. Some restaurants will have it. Yeah, but I'm not like eating at a restaurant, you know? Like my partner and I don't eat at restaurants. I guess some restaurants could have pickup, maybe. Mole is savory and chocolate-based, has a hint of the chocolatey bitterness with the nice savory and saltiness. Yeah, that sounds cool. I do not know what applications I would do it in. So yeah, I just buy like a sauce and like mix it with some, I don't know, I'll fucking have to look it up. I'll have to look it up later. How to cook with mole. There, I'll keep a fucking tab open so that I can look more into it later. And it has to be something that fits in with my current philosophy of food, which is I prefer one-pan meals. I prefer meals that I don't have to stand there and cook the entire time. Some of the meals that I make break one or both of these rules, but that's kind of the basic. We're trying to make things as simple as possible so that it's easy and like not a nightmare to cook and not a nightmare to clean up. Usually you'll serve something with like chicken with mole served over rice. Okay. Mole nachos is something... Okay, so here's a Reddit. I love to do this. r/Mexican food. What should I eat with my mole? Meat cooked in mole sauce with a side of rice is common. You can serve it on corn tortillas, possibly. That's one. Enmoladas. I assume that that's... Actually, I don't know what that means. Ladas means to put in something. Like aras, like tostadas and enchiladas, that means like to put in something. So I don't know what enmoladas means. Okay, there are many options, is what I'm learning. Air fryers are great for the asylum meals. I don't know what asylum meals are. I love having an air fryer, though. A mole chili. See, I did think maybe a mole chili. Oh my god, we're at 92 likes today. Jiminy Christmas. So close to getting to 100 likes. Chill streams getting 100 likes is my favorite. I'm so excited to get to this place where we might only have 36 viewers, but god damn it, we have almost 100 likes. And it's people who are just here to shoot the shit. Oh, air fryers are great for the easy meals. Okay. I don't use the air fryer as much as I used to. When it was just two of us, like, my air fryer was the perfect size to, like, air fry one part of the meal on one side and one part of the meal on the other side. Because I have one of those Ninjas that has two air fryer baskets. And it was, like, the perfect size for the amount of food that my partner and I will eat. And then, like, maybe a third element that comes out of the stove or the oven. But now that I'm cooking for 3 people, it's like, it's just a little bit more food than usually fits in there. So I might do, I might do asparagus in the air fryer or something. Or maybe I'll warm up some, ooh, I think I bought some like freezer jalapeno poppers and just popped those in there. Oh, delicious. My partner requested egg rolls recently, and I think I'm going to do that tonight. Like egg rolls in the air fryer. And then pot stickers on the stove. Because you can buy frozen pot stickers. I think you guys, if you might remember that I was complaining because my partner requested that I make homemade, like, gyoza or dumplings. And I was like, dude, that feels like it's going to be a lot of work, like folding the dumplings and everything. So I was like, I'm going to cheat. And I purchased a bag of frozen pot stickers. Which is great. They still take a long time to make. Kind of, but like, because you have to like boil them and then fry them off. So it does still kind of take a long time, especially if you don't have a pan that's big enough for like 3 people's worth of dumplings. But yeah, I wonder, I'm thinking maybe I'll try to make more at one time. I used to make this meal in a slow cooker that was really good called chicken azteca, and I could just dump hot sauce on it and have it with rice when it's done. Nice. Yeah. I'm a big fan of slow cooker meals as well. I don't have as many slow cooker meals on the list of meals because I'm just not as familiar with it. Like, I don't know. I do make like a chicken chili that's a slow cooker meal, but it's like functionally I'm just boiling chicken breast in like a mixture of chicken broth and crushed tomatoes. That's kind of ultimately what's happening is I'm just boiling the chicken in some salt and some spice. And then like later on in the process, I'll throw in like a bag of frozen peppers and onions and maybe a can of beans. And then I let that warm up. And that's the whole chili. It's like, I don't know. Not very complicated. And then, of course, pot roast. But that's kind of it for the slow cooker. I need to expand my slow cooker options. Mole enchiladas? Okay. Enchiladas seems like a lot of work, too. Like, you gotta wrap everything. And then you gotta put it in there. And then you pour the sauce over. It's like, wow. It's a lot of work. They're delicious. But I don't know if I have the energy in me to make them. Love a good pot roast. I know, beef is just insanely expensive right now. You know, you go to buy a piece of chuck roast and it's like fucking $20. Like, God, that's so expensive. I don't know if that's just me, man. It just feels like... It's like, how is beef such a heavily subsidized industry? Like, we dump so much money into subsidizing the cow industry, and then fucking still... like $6-7 a pound for ground beef? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, dude, oh my God. Maybe it's just because I've always been like, yeah, they're up across the board. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I recently switched. I had been for a while buying pork, but pork is always like 80-20. You know, like you base, or like 85-15 at the best. You can't really get low fat ground pork. Basically any meal that could call for ground beef, I was like, let's just do pork instead. It's like mildly less unhealthy, whatever. But then more recently, I was like, yeah, I think for my goals with regards to like how much protein and fat I'm trying to get in a given day, it makes more sense for me to buy a high protein beef. But that shit is so expensive. So expensive. Like, dude, pork rib roast is good for pot roast and much cheaper than beef. I just don't like the flavor of pork in a pot roast. I'm really, like, a pot roast requires the beef flavor to me. Otherwise, it's just not good. I've tried it before, and I was just like, ugh. Maybe it was the wrong pork meat. Maybe I just should have done different cut. I don't know. Like taking some chicken and roasting it in the oven, covered in several inches of assorted veggies and some Italian dressing. Ooh, okay. Meffy. Naughty. You're being naughty. Not allowed. How dare you? Oh man, I still have tea. I get to make a second cup of tea. Ooh, it's not too late in the day. If I were to end stream relatively soon and I had another thing of tea, I just can't, man, I just can't be trusted to brew a tea in the afternoon. If I don't drink it fast enough, I can't be drinking tea at fucking 7 o'clock at night. I will not sleep. The human body is perfectly adapted to digest chicken. I eat more chicken than anything else as far as proteins go. You know? This is part of why some of the things on my wish list right now are like, I want a nicer cutting board and a bigger stock pot, because I want to go back to what I was doing before, which is I would buy whole chicken and then butcher them. And right now, like, I'm just buying chicken breast and chicken thighs in the container like you usually do. Oh my God. Man, I'm getting used to wearing my glasses, and my partner helped me adjust them so they don't squeeze my head as bad, but it's still itchy. There's the free slot on the Lux Stream bingo card talking about tea. You're late, Banana. I already been talking about tea. It was like one of the first things we talked about. I love your bunny bun. Thank you. This is the bun. So actually, this is the bun that I put my hair in the night before last night when I went to sleep. And then I left it in there all day yesterday, and then I slept in it again last night, and then I'm wearing it still today. I need to wash my hair. It's up there because it probably needs to be washed. So, and yes, it does look cute in its own kind of goofy ass way. So, there we go. There, I'm finally done with the tea. Insects are free if you have no ability to be disgusted. Don't eat random insects, okay? You never know if they have parasites. You don't know if they've eaten an insecticide recently, you know? You can eat farmed crickets because you know they're not going to have parasites, you know? And I have thought about doing that. I'm open to the idea of eating crickets. At the very minimum, you could eat cricket flour. I don't really know what you would do with it. You can use it as a thickener, maybe. I have no idea. What do people do with cricket flour? Don't eat random insects. Eat specific insects. Exactly. Get your insects from the right source, okay? Anyone here a fan of the band Ghost? I don't know. Are there any fans of the band Ghost? I've heard of them a lot. I don't think I've listened to any of their music. Seeing for the 5th time tomorrow and so psyched. Wear a mask! But have fun. What star on the shirt? What are you talking about? Are you talking about this? This that I'm wearing? Yeah, for sure. I've seen way too many videos of insects infected with disconcertingly long parasitic worms. Yeah, like I've seen videos of like you take a praying mantis and like stick its butt into the water and a super long worm comes out of it. It's disgusting. Okay, so this is nothing to do with Israel. This is a 5-pointed star. The Star of David has 6 points. This is in this context, it's kind of more of it's an edgy symbol that's supposed to evoke like dark witchcraft or Satanism, perhaps. I'm not a Satanist, but it's supposed to be more provocative in that way. But in reality, the symbol of the 5-pointed star like this is a symbol of protection in the pagan tradition. Although typically the pagan pentacle upright is like the point will be at the top most of the time. So some people do consider this to be like an inversion of that symbol that maybe means something else. But really, I'm just doing it to be edgy and cute. What is the Star of David? Here, I'll show you a picture. Yikes. Someone in the YouTube chat names their account Jeffrey Epstein. Star of David. It has 6 points. And it looks like this. It's kind of like 2 triangles inside each other. The star on the flag of Israel is not itself a symbol of Israel, but of Judaism. Yeah, exactly. So it's like Halloween. Kind of, yeah. You can say I like the Halloween aesthetic all year. That's kind of... I like some kind of Halloween aesthetic mixed with a kind of like witchy aesthetic and like forest witch kind of thing. Like those are the vibes that I enjoy myself. Today, the way that I'm presenting is more like Halloween, sure. Someone offered me fried crickets once and I said no thanks. If they were flavored, I would have tried them. You know, like I'll eat some like chili lime flavored crickets. That seems like it would be a nice crunchy snack. Is it a Christian thing? No. So the pentagram or the pentacle, whichever term you want to use, this symbol is, Christians consider this a satanic symbol, even when it is not meant to be a satanic symbol. So this is very explicitly non-Christian. And then the Star of David is a symbol of Judaism. So people who are Jewish. Yeah, no, you're fine. As somebody who doesn't know a lot about Western culture, it's fine. Yeah, this is a symbol of the Jewish religion, which came before the Christian religion. Like the Christian religion uses some of the same documentation as the Jewish religion, but they also have like more stuff on top of that. And they also ignore some of the Jewish stuff. Like in the Jewish tradition, if a woman is pregnant and the baby represents a threat to her life, they are required to get an abortion in Jewish religion. Christians hate abortion, so they clearly ignore some of the Jewish stuff even though the Christian religion is built on the Jewish stuff. And then the Muslim religion has basically some things from Judaism and some things from Christianity, plus a bunch of their own stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, the Star of David is a Jewish symbol. The pentacle or pentagram is not related to any of those bitches. I ate a mealworm once in biology class. The teacher was like, this is a part of the test. You can have either a cricket or a mealworm. I chose mealworm because everyone said that the cricket bits would get stuck between your teeth. How did that go? Because I would feel like a mealworm has many more small pieces to get stuck between my teeth. Like, because they do have a lot of tiny little legs versus a cricket with its only 6 but kind of long, I guess, legs. I might have tried a cricket if they weren't being purposely gross about it. I'm not above eating insects. I just didn't want to give them a reason to laugh at me. Oh, weird. Like, you're the one who is peddling the crickets. Yeah, if you eat a cricket or a mealworm, I guess, along with a handful of Chex Mix, I guess it would be pretty much unnoticed. It would just taste like a handful of Chex Mix. And it would just be crunchy, which is already what a handful of Chex Mix is like. So, interesting. I do love how many people are trolling about the Epstein thing right now. And then, like, the CEO of whatever company that was at the Coldplay concert. And then I also was reading an article that apparently fucking Zuckerberg is apparently also having an affair. Are we talking about alternative sources of protein up in here? Kind of, yeah. That is one of the things we were talking about. We started talking about how beef is so expensive, and then now it's on a whole cricket conversation. Yeah, what happens if you were to eat all the crickets in the area and then proceed to tell a bad joke? Does that break the laws of the universe? Yeah, there's no crickets to play during the dead silence after your bad joke. Rich men cheating on their partners? Say it isn't so. Yeah. Apparently the Zuckerberg thing is being kept under pretty tight wraps. Like, his close circle people know about it, but they're super loyal. So, and like, people are afraid of retribution potentially, so they're not publicizing it, or the publicizing that they're doing anonymously where possible. I also saw a little compilation earlier of, since that CEO and the woman he was with, like, they both hid, or maybe she was the CEO, I don't care. The way that they both, like, ducked out of the frame and everything, I've seen a bunch of people doing that now. Like, when they go on the Jumbotron, they're only doing it to meme about the Coldplay concert, but it is funny that people are like, oh no, we're on the kiss cam. Hi, duck, run away. CEOs having affairs is something that I can never care about. They have money, they'll be fine. I kind of understand people caring about it only in the sense that, like, they want to, like people want to undermine the, I don't know, like, if you can point out how morally bankrupt these people are, not only with how they treat their workers, because a lot of people don't give a shit about that, but if you can be like, look, this person is dishonest. I've also seen some posts running around recently that are like, if I found out my business partner was cheating on his wife, I would not want to be that business partner anymore, because if they can lie to the person who they sleep next to every night, like the person who's raising their children potentially, then they could be lying to me and I would not know. So I wonder too if there are business impacts of cheating on your wife. Like, maybe not. And maybe that's something that used to be acceptable, but nowadays is more of a thing that people care about. Byron says, the Epstein thing is so funny to me because from our perspective, Trump swearing he had nothing to do with Epstein and calling it a Dem hoax literally came out of nowhere. Like suddenly walking into a crowd at a party and loudly proclaiming you didn't shit your pants. I went from the perspective of Trump's probably on the list to holy shit, did Trump personally have him killed or something? Right, like the level of guilt that you're acting like right now is pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. For them to have gone from we're going to make them release the list, there's corruption, we're going to drain the swamp, all this stuff. And then it's like, oh, Pam Bondi's like, yeah, the list is on my desk. I'm having it looked at by our intelligence people. To then now being like, there is no list. There never was a list. It's a Democratic hoax. Yeah, it's just so badly orchestrated that it makes you question like how deep into the fascism we're going to be able to even actually go because of how goofy and fucking dumb this group of people is. Like, I don't know. But I don't like. Do you have to be smart to successfully overthrow a democracy? Like, it kind of seems like you don't at this point. It seems like if you're popular, you can be really fucking dumb and incompetent constantly, actually. And in fact, that's like one of the things about that is like indicative that you are deep down the fascism is that people are blatantly like mishandling classified information, et cetera, and not being impeached for it, and not like the power structure is coalescing around all these dumb fucks and protecting them from their mistakes. So it almost seems like people being stupid is a feature of fascism. Like, and by that I mean the people doing the fascism being stupid seems to be part of the appeal of fascism for some reason. Historically, fascism has always been self-destructing. We're just in one of the literal dumbest versions of that. True, man. Like, I do think, and like, I can't remember if I retweeted this. Actually, let me see. Did I reskeet this? I don't think I did. But I saw a guy. Oh yeah, no, I did reskeet this. So I don't know who this is, but this person makes a great point. Like a secret police, you don't make a secret.
Create a secret police.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I guess I'll just let him talk. I don't really want to spend a minute watching this, but we'll do it anyway. Here, I'll just mute myself.
You don't create a secret police just to go after the most marginalized. You create a secret police to go after everybody who might oppose you. I think the most underreported part of the reconciliation bill is this creation of the secret police. I mean, we're talking the largest federal law enforcement agency in the history of the Republic. The total spend for this is at the level of the Russian military, and 90% of the coverage has been.
Oh shit! Did I just mute myself? And oh okay, yeah. I'm dumb. Sorry. What I was saying is he's going off about how like he's saying like, oh, we're putting money into this organization, and what he's talking about is ICE, like the fact that this bill just made ICE like have greater funding than several other aspects of our military combined, and more than the military of many other countries. Like ICE on its own, after this bill just passed, has more funding than the military of other countries. So when he is talking about the secret police, he's referring to ICE. That's all I was clarifying. Sorry, I'm stupid.
The largest federal law enforcement agency in the history of the Republic. The total spend for this is at the level of the Russian military, and 90% of the coverage has been, I think, reasonably on the egregious Medicaid cuts and the egregious tax cuts for the wealthy or the SNAP cuts. And that's bad. It's also, I don't believe, the first thing we're going to see out of this bill. The first thing we're going to see out of this bill are detention camps like at Alligator Auschwitz that's being constructed in Florida. We're going to see thousands upon thousands of ICE agents, probably a lot of Proud Boys applying for new jobs to become ICE agents.
The Proud Boy Full Employment Act.
And this is happening now, not sometime in the future, not after the midterms. Now we're going to see it. And if you think this is just about immigration, I'm sorry, you got another thing coming. They are using the secret police, yes, to focus on a more vulnerable part of society, but they're going to use it to bully their political opponents. They're going to use it to bully the press. They're going to use it to bully organizers. That is just authoritarianism 101. You don't create a secret police just to go after the most marginalized. You create a secret police to go after everybody who might oppose you. You don't.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. It's like, that's a really good point that, you know, everybody is talking about the Medicaid cuts because we're trying to say, like, how can we get this message to land with Republican voters? How can we go, look, this is hurting you? Like, yeah, of course, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare, those are things that are going to impact Republican voters, but those things are also not going to come into fruition until 2 years down the line. Like, that they designed this on purpose to where, like, they passed this law now, but it doesn't go into effect until right before the midterms, and then they can say, oh, look at this, like, or maybe even after the midterms. After the midterms, because then they can be like, oh, you know, the Democrats said that we were going to hurt Medicaid, but you haven't seen your Medicaid change. And then they win the midterms, and then the effects go in. They go into play. Oh, the cat's over there. Somebody left him out. Also, they're paying Alligator Auschwitz guards $6,000 a week. Yeah, I just read an article, and I don't know if I reskeeted this one. Maybe I did not. But I was just reading an article about how ICE agents, this person went to interview some some people who were applying to be ICE agents. Like, there was a big event in, I think, Washington, D.C., where they were hiring, or maybe in Carolina or something, one of the Carolinas. They invited a bunch of people to come apply to all these different government organizations, and ICE was one of them there. And this person interviewed people trying to get employment through ICE. And honestly, it seems like most of the people who were interviewed are doing it because there are travel opportunities. And the people who are curating the event and who are talking about, like, oh, here's the benefits of working with ICE, one of the things that they're saying is, like, yeah, you get to ride the deportation airplanes, and then you get to visit other countries. So, like, wanderlust and boredom are a huge part of why people are joining ICE. And then, of course, there is a contingent who are like, I want to beat the shit out of people, or like, who are like, I was in the military and I've learned all those very specific skills, but I can't apply any of those skills now that I'm back domestic. So now I'm going to join ICE so that I can use those military skills that I have. But the most pathetic thing is that so many of these people are just like wanderlust. Like, I literally am just bored in my life. I'm bored with my job and I want to go places. And I don't mind that requires me tearing families apart. Like, they don't seem to really think about what they're actually doing. And like, most of them don't state that their incentive is actually anything about patriotism or helping the country or protecting our communities. Like, they literally just want to travel and get paid a $40,000 signing bonus or something, or maybe $4,000. I can't fucking remember. It was or maybe it was like a $6,000 signing bonus and then like $40,000 a year for their annual salary or something, which $40,000 is not like a bunch, but it's like pretty good. I've been getting ads on YouTube on my phone about joining the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and I hate it. I mostly watch YouTube on my laptop where I have ad block. That's interesting. I get pretty bored too sometimes, but I don't think I'm willing to ruin lives for the sake of excitement. Totally. Right. I'm in a time of my life where I want to travel too. In fact, I just brought it up to my partner. I'm like, I want us to be planning to travel. This is part of why I'm so bummed out that he didn't get the vehicle that he wanted. Because he wanted to get like a big van that we could sleep in. And I was getting all this idea in my head of like, ooh, that means that we can go travel and camp pretty much anywhere. And we won't have to pay for a hotel. We won't have to pay for a camping fee or anything. Like, potentially maybe wouldn't have to pay as much for a camping fee or whatever. Hi, baby. Hi, Mr. Baby. But now I'm like, listen, there's so many beautiful places near where we live. And even if we have to go further, I'm like, yeah, I would love to go stay in a cabin in the Rocky Mountains for a weekend or one day or something. Like, there's so many beautiful places near where we live that I'm like, yeah, we should go get one night in a cute, quirky little hotel or bed and breakfast or some shit like that. I don't actually think bed and breakfast is right. It's too much involvement with the staff. But yeah, we should stay at a cute little kitschy hotel and then explore a different city for a day and then come home. Like, I also want to travel. I don't want to travel badly enough. And like, I also would love to have a stable income. I don't want to have those things enough that it's worth it for me to join the Gestapo. Like, it's not a trade-off that I'm capable. This is one of those things where they tell autistics that we're morally rigid and like our inflexibility is a problem. But I think that the fact that you're willing to just throw morals out the window in order to satisfy your boredom and wanderlust, like, I think that that's so fucked up. Ninja Proxy says, I missed you. Where have you been? I stream on Sundays and Wednesdays pretty much every week. I'm sorry you've been not able to come here. I want to spend time in a tent in a rainy field with my partner. Yo, it is a great soundscape. Like, one of my apps has the option to listen to a soundscape as like one of the calming activities you can do. And it lets you choose from a bunch of different rain sounds. My favorite one is the like Japanese temple rain. Like the sound of it thwapping on the wood sounds really good. But there is a tent one that I do like to listen to sometimes. So I'll imagine myself in a beautiful, like, secluded meadow. And like the rain is just like tapping down on the top of it. Oh man, it's so good. Also, for the sake of travel, these so-called patriots need to realize how much there is to see just within the contiguous U.S. There's literally everything biome almost right outside our doors. True. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm thinking about traveling, and I'm not even thinking about traveling internationally because fuck getting on an airplane. For so many reasons, fuck getting on an airplane. Just even in the U.S., travel. No, I'm not talking about the Calm app. It took me forever to understand how many grifters there were because I operated under the premise that because I was an honest person, I assumed most other people were as well. That is a jarring thing to learn. That, like, I'm compulsively honest, but many other people are not compulsively honest, and they aren't even honest in general. Like, I told you guys about Caroline Easom, who I follow on YouTube and watched some of her videos. She made some videos explaining how a lot of the Reddit stories we see are just creative writing. Like, it's just lies. And her thing was, she's like, I'm able to tell you that these are lies because I was a compulsive liar as a child. And I'm like, can't relate, but I will listen to you explain to me why this is a lie. But I can't understand the idea of being a compulsive liar. I don't know. I don't disagree, She Who Knows No Name, that the United States might be more easily managed if it were several smaller countries. I love that I can just drive 4 hours to the beach. Imagine having to catch a flight. Totally, yeah. Although I will say, like, the beaches here in Oregon are not particularly... It's not like a warm experience. I don't know. Maybe I should go on one of those 90-degree days and see. Jules says, I'm a VA nurse, and my friend said, why not join ICE for the $40,000 signing bonus? The signing bonus may draw you in. I'm going to VA San Diego and make $87,000 per year. Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. And so I was right. It's $40,000 signing bonus, not 4,000. It's 40,000. Yeah, just I'm just gonna sign up and get a $40,000 signing bonus. Ugh, it's so gross. Usually, when I'm in a tent in a rainy field, there's a rave happening relatively nearby, which ruins the soundscape somewhat. Well, that's a you problem. No, I'm just kidding. The beaches are harsh but beautiful. Yeah, I'm just not going to the beach here for the sake of like sunbathing and swimming. You go to the beach here to look at the tide pools and like walk around. Yeah, like I said, maybe on the hottest days of summer, it could be fun to go swimming in the Pacific, but I'm just not a huge. I just feel like it's too cold. But I don't know. I haven't like we went on the first day that it was nice enough to go to the ocean. So it was a few months ago now. Like I think it was in March, the first time we went out to the beach, and we haven't been since then. So I don't know if maybe it's maybe a lot nicer now. Yes, our beaches are for tide pools and exploring. And for seeing whales, I guess. There's that too. There were sheep nearby once. It was a you problem. True. Could it be possible to take sign up bonus then quit? Typically, when you get a sign on bonus, you have to sign a contract. I think that that's how it works, where you're like, I'm going to work for you for a minimum amount of time. And if you quit or are let go, you might owe them $40,000. I would assume that that is something that they would do. Like I'm assuming that you can't just take the $40,000 signing bonus and then quit. That they would come after you for that probably. I've seen orca pods while taking the ferry. I'm still tickled that for the last 20 years, orcas have been attempting to initiate diplomatic relationships with us by offering us food. I'm like, listen, they're intelligent and this is the equivalent of aliens making contact. You know, orcas now on our own planet are attempting to make contact with us. They're trying to communicate. They're trying to be friends. I just imagine if I was in a wetsuit in the water and an orca came up and was like and like spit out some food, I feel like I would pick it up and would immediately do. I would try to use my underwater body language to indicate playfulness or happiness, you know? Because like I feel like other animals understand playfulness. In fact, we're discovering all the time that playfulness happens like across species. Even bees play. Like they'll roll a ball around for no specific reason. They just do it to play because play is just like a thing that biological fucking vertebrates do apparently. And like I imagine like underwater, like if you like spin and twirl and flip and stuff, that's like playful behavior. And so I'm like, listen, if an orca gives me food, I'm gonna immediately start like twirling and like just swimming in a way that indicates like I'm excited about this. Thank you very much. I want them to know how much I appreciate it. We should not let. Are you talking about orcas? We should not tell the orcas that we've been kidnapping their children if they don't already know. At least not immediately. True. I love watching mustelids play. That's like otters, right? I love communicating to animals the way they communicate. I know. My cat, I don't think he actually understands what slow blinking means. Because sometimes I'm like, hey, buddy. And I blink at him real slow. And he's just still like, I'm like, okay, are you all right? You doing okay? Traveling to an out of the way state or national park can give a wonderfully varied experience. Most are very chill with few people. Some have shitty bathrooms, but all of them will have more animal activity, for better or worse. Midwest parks have been a wonderful getaway with little more than the requirement for traveling to them. Yes. Yeah. I love the idea of going new places and just like getting out of my environment for a couple days. And it has to be like a vacation too, you know, like I'm not going to plan to like travel to a hotel on a Friday night, explore a new city on Saturday, come home Saturday night, and then come to work on Sunday. If I'm going to go on a vacation, it has to actually entail me having a day off, you know, because a lot of the time Saturday is a day off for me anyway. You know, a vacation, you need to have a day off that you would normally be working. That's just a passionate feeling that I have. Otters, ferrets, skunks, etc. are mustelids. Ooh, yes, ferrets. Oh, okay. So they're stinky. They're called mustelids, because they're stinky. They have scent glands. Because ferrets are stinky boys. They're stinky little babies. Orcas are actually a form of dolphin. That's true. That's true, they are. Also, if it's a big vacation, you need a decompression day before you go back to work. Yeah, I guess I'm not really in the mind of having big vacations. I'm in the mind of having like a 2-day vacation. Like, yeah, like over the weekend. Or one day. Just travel. I'm going to travel like a few hours for one thing and then like come home and whatever. We need to plan like a trip to Seattle, and that's going to be like a little mini vacation kind of thing. We're going to probably have to stay overnight because it's like a 4-hour drive or something. And I don't want to do it all in one day. Like, I don't want to drive 4 hours and then hang out with 2 people and then come back in the same day. It just sounds shitty. So that's the first thing on the list, is I do need to finally go to Seattle and meet some of you wonderful people who I've been friends with for months or years now. I worked at SeaWorld for 9 years and learned many facts about orcas. That's sad, though. Aren't they all sad in SeaWorld? Like, isn't SeaWorld where they, like, tested the water and found that it, like, had orca tears in it or something? That's sad, though. Oh no, my tea is gone. So sad. Now I just have to drink water again. Don't let your wanderlust turn you into a fascist challenge. Impossible mode 2015, 2025. Wow. 2015. Fucking kill me. I used to clean airplanes for Southwest Airlines, so I have been inside multiple Shamu airplanes. Really? Your life has been so interesting, Fesh. You've done so many interesting things. Putting orcas in SeaWorld is like putting humans in solitary confinement. That's the impression that I've gotten. Yeah. Last time I was in Seattle, I was ashamed because of how clean the streets were compared to Portland. Yeah, I wonder if they just allocate more resources toward cleaning up the streets, because there is definitely, I think, as much of a homeless problem in Seattle as there is in Portland. But yeah, I have contemplated many times getting one of those little sticky grab, like a long stick grabby thing, so that anytime I take a walk, I can pick up trash without having to actually touch it with my hands. I just need to actually get one. It's like, you know what? I'm actually going to just open that up right now. Long stick grabber for trash. There we go. I'll fucking order one. And then I'll get it, and then I'll have it. Fun fact, wild orcas have never been recorded killing a human. Captive orcas have rightfully killed many of their captors. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, we've never known of a wild orca attack on a human. But captive orcas have a fucking grudge. Okay, that's cool. Because, yeah, orcas don't kill anything that is outside of, like, their specific food range. And they are intelligent and have good enough vision. They can tell the difference between, like, a person in a wetsuit versus, like, a seal or whatever the fuck they eat. And apparently they have an idea of revenge. This is what I mean. Like, if I were a marine biologist, and I did want to be a marine biologist when I was a kid, it was one of the things that I wanted to do. Although at the time I was more like, I love dolphins so much. But now that I'm an adult, bro, if I were to suddenly have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to just spend on going to school for whatever I wanted, marine biology to work with orcas would definitely be up there. Like, orcas are fucking cool. They might be the future of this planet. Can you imagine if humanity dies out but the orcas still live? Like, they could absolutely join forces with octopi to become the best version of the Earth. I don't know if whale vision is particularly good. Well, orcas aren't whales. That's a good point, though. I think they rely more on echolocation. Okay. So yeah, I guess it would be more accurate to say, like, they are able to clearly sense the difference between humans and seals such that they never accidentally attack a human thinking it's their own thing. So yeah, because the Hank Green video about eyes, yeah, they would have evolved eyes. They would have evolved eyes outside of water. Like, they would have developed the things that they need to see with their eyes out of water. And then if they went back into the water, it's entirely possible that that their eyes are the same as ours, in the way that, like, our eyes don't work as well underwater because of the way light refracts into them through the medium of water versus the medium of air. So it would kind of make sense if they don't have good vision. Dolphins are whales, excuse you. Okay, I was just going off of what Jules was saying in the YouTube chat about how orcas are not whales because they're a form of dolphin. Or maybe she didn't say that they're not whales. My bad. It's cool how many branches of animals have gone from land back to being fully aquatic. Yeah, or at least mostly aquatic with, there's lots of sort of in-betweeny guys like walruses and seals, which spend part of their time on land. But they can also, like, sleep underwater. It's so cute. Okay, I am exhausted. I need to sit down and eat some lunch and stuff, and I've got a bunch of things I want to accomplish this evening, so thank you very much for hanging out with me for this 3.5 hours. I am planning on seeing you all on Wednesday. There's going to be more episodes of the podcast with Gayfesh and Demon Mama coming out, so check that out as they go out every other week on Tuesdays. We will be streaming on Wednesday this week, and then I have Takis on Thursday, so you're going to be seeing plenty of me. And wish me luck on my Mulan script, because boy howdy, she's being difficult. All right, thanks everybody for hanging out. We will see you in the future. I hope that you are well and that you continue to be well. We got one coming out this Tuesday. We have another podcast episode coming out this Tuesday on the Many Worlds Hypothesis. Go watch all of the episodes. Okay, bye.